Welcome to Cello. At readcello.com, you create personalized novels based on your input. You can also find a library of ebooks and audiobooks just like this one. This free audiobook of The Tides of Time is brought to you by readcello.com. Enjoy the book. The Tides of Time has been written and narrated by the amazing team at readcello.com. Dedication. This book is dedicated to the community seeker. The community seeker reads to connect. They love stories that spark conversations, fuel discussions, and create shared experiences with others. For them, books are more than just entertainment. They're a way to bond, to exchange ideas, and to be part of something bigger. Whether it's through book clubs, online fandoms, buddy reads, or social media discussions, they thrive on engaging with others about what they read. They aren't just looking for a good story. They're looking for a reading experience that brings people together. The Tides of Time, Chapter 1, A Passion for the Past. Claire knelt in the back of a crowded bookshop, surrounded by dusty maritime maps and stacks of ancient texts, her fingertips grazing over delicate parchment. She immersed herself in the vibrant history unfurling before her, each line and mark igniting her imagination as she envisioned the voyages of the past. Engaging with the shopkeeper, she shared her excitement about the significance of an intricate map depicting long-forgotten trade routes, her voice animated and passionate. The shopkeeper watched her enthusiasm with a hint of caution. "History has its dangers, you know," he warned, hinting at the paths ahead that could lead to both discovery and peril. Claire felt a pulse of challenge ripple through her, but her ambition overshadowed her apprehension, propelling her forward into the depths of history, determined to uncover the truths hidden beneath the waves. Catching sight of a mysterious figure lingering near the entrance, she sensed an intrigue that promised to complicate her journey, though the thought of adventure fueled her resolve to explore further. With the excitement of her discoveries still fresh, Claire returned home and settled into her familiar routine, riffling through her family's historical journals piled on her desk. The pages were filled with notes and sketches from her ancestors who had once been explorers themselves, each entry sparking a fire of ambition within her. She immersed herself in their tales, feeling a connection to their journeys that fueled her own hunger for knowledge and adventure. Yet amidst the thrill, a sense of inefficiency nagged at her. The papers were scattered, a tangled reflection of her current workspace lacking organization. Determined to honor her family's legacy, Claire made a mental note to streamline her methods, realizing that she could enhance her research by adopting a more systematic approach. As she turned to look wistfully out the window at the horizon, she felt the weight of her dreams pressing upon her, compelling her to take the first steps toward a journey she longed to embark on. The sound of a knock at the door broke Claire's concentration, and she turned to see her friend Sarah stepping inside, her energy instantly brightening the room. "Are you ready for our next adventure?" Sarah's voice was laced with excitement as she approached, a stack of new research materials in her arms. Claire felt a surge of enthusiasm, but also a flicker of doubt. "I'm just going over my notes from the last expedition. I want to make sure I'm prepared," she replied, hoping to convey her commitment without revealing her underlying anxiety. Sarah noticed the scattered papers on the desk, raising an eyebrow with a teasing smirk. "You know, you're going to lose your chance to dive into history if you keep all this chaos around," she said playfully, nudging Claire toward the window with a grin. Claire laughed, appreciating the friendly jab, but felt a slight sting. It was true. She had too much on her mind, and the clutter reflected her internal struggle. Okay, you're right," Claire conceded, looking back at her notes, acknowledging her need for clarity and focus before she embarked on their next adventure. As Claire turned back to the window, her attention was drawn to a figure standing outside, partially obscured by the trees. She squinted, trying to get a better look, sensing an unusual presence that felt out of place in her familiar surroundings. The person appeared to be watching her, their posture relaxed yet intent, sparking a flicker of curiosity and unease inside her. "Who's that?" Sarah asked, noticing Claire's distracted gaze as she moved closer to the window. Claire shrugged, unable to shake off the feeling that this encounter might mean something significant. "I don't know. It looks familiar, but I can't quite place them." The stranger turned slightly, and Claire thought she caught a glimpse of recognition in their eyes. But the moment passed, leaving her with more questions than answers. "Let's just focus on our plans for the dive," she finally said, turning away from the window, though the feeling of intrigue lingered in her mind, hinting at deeper connections that awaited her journey. Claire's thoughts raced as she brushed off the encounter with the mysterious figure, redirecting her focus to the letter resting on the table, an invitation to join an archaeological expedition. The corners of the paper were slightly worn, indicative of its importance as she felt it weighty in her hands. This was the moment she had been waiting for, an opportunity to embrace not just her love for history, but to step into the adventure she had always longed for. With renewed determination, she unfolded the letter and began to scan its contents, her heart beating faster with each word she read. The thrill of possibility ignited her ambition, and Claire envisioned herself embarking on a journey that would connect her to her past, honoring her family's legacy of exploration. Setting the letter back down, she took a deep breath, ready to fully commit to the unknown challenges that awaited her on this new path. With the letter still fresh in her mind, Claire stepped outside, feeling the warmth of the sun on her skin. The familiar sights of her neighborhood enveloped her, but she could feel a sense of change brewing within. As she walked down the path toward the harbor, thoughts of adventure flooded her mind, pushing aside any hesitation. She passed the vibrant market, the calls of vendors mingling with the salty breeze, each sound a reminder of the community that had always supported her dreams. Claire took a moment to appreciate the familiar surroundings, recognizing that while she would miss them, her heart was set on something greater. With determination solidifying her steps, she quickened her pace, ready to embrace the new journey that awaited her, feeling more alive than ever as she left behind the safety of the known for the promise of discovery. Chapter 2: Legacy of the Ancestors. Claire woke early the next morning, the sun peeking through her curtains, a golden hue casting a warm glow across her room. She stretched, invigorated by the anticipation of the day ahead, her thoughts dancing with visions of the upcoming expedition. In the kitchen, the familiar aroma of coffee brewed and mingled with the sound of the waves crashing in the distance, grounding her in the moment. Claire reached for her journals, flipping through the pages filled with her research notes and sketches, reinforcing her knowledge as she prepared for the journey. Every detail she had written felt like a stepping stone leading her toward her dreams, fueling her excitement even further. With a determined heart, she gathered her supplies, organizing her materials with care, ensuring she was ready to dive headfirst into the adventure that awaited her. As she organized her materials, Claire noticed a few papers slipping out of order, a reminder that her meticulousness sometimes faltered amid her excitement. She paused, sighing as she took a moment to assess the clutter on her desk. "It's time to streamline this," she murmured, recognizing that being disorganized could hinder her efforts as she embarked on the adventure. With renewed focus, Claire began sorting through the stacks, carefully filing away unnecessary papers and creating a prioritized list of tasks to accomplish before the dive. This small act of organization brought clarity to her thoughts, allowing her to embrace her ambition and set a steady course for the day ahead. Feeling lighter, Claire smiled to herself, knowing that she could face whatever challenges lay ahead with determination and focus. With her materials organized and her thoughts clarified, Claire turned her attention to the family journals that had inspired her own quest for knowledge. Sitting at the kitchen table, she opened the leather-bound book, its pages yellowed with age, revealing the stories of her ancestors and their sea-bound adventures. Each entry painted vivid scenes of discovery and wonder, igniting her imagination and fueling her aspirations. A knock on the door interrupted her reverie as her friend Sarah entered, a bouncing energy radiating from her. "You ready for our next adventure? I can't wait to hear about what you've uncovered." Claire smiled, grateful for Sarah's enthusiasm, which always seemed to infuse her with renewed energy. "I'm getting there, just revisiting some family history," she replied, eager to share her passion. Sarah leaned over, glancing at the journal. "Your family had such fascinating stories. It's amazing how their journeys influence your own. As they flipped through the pages together, Claire felt a familiar mix of pride and nostalgia. "Your family really faced some incredible challenges," Sarah remarked, her eyes wide with admiration. "I can see where you get your adventurous spirit from." Claire chuckled, feeling warmth spread through her at the compliment. "They definitely had their fair share of obstacles. It makes me want to uncover our own stories even more." But as they continued to peruse the journal, a sudden flutter of doubt crept into Claire's mind. "I just hope I can live up to their legacy." Sarah looked at her seriously, placing a hand on Claire's arm. "You're already doing more than they could have imagined. You're out there exploring and preserving history. That's plenty." Claire smiled at her friend's encouragement, knowing deep down that this journey was not only about honoring the past, but also about forging her own path in the world of exploration. With renewed confidence from Sarah's words, Claire closed the journal, a sense of purpose igniting within her. "I need to take that step forward," she said, feeling the urge to honor her family's legacy by pursuing her own adventures. She gathered her research materials and glanced out the window, where the coastal skies beckoned her with promises of exploration. "Let's get started on our plans for the dive," she announced, determination taking hold as she turned to Sarah, who wore a wide grin. "Absolutely, I'm ready to dive into the unknown," Sarah replied, matching Claire's enthusiasm. Claire could feel her curiosity pulling at her, a fire burning within, and she knew that embracing this journey was her calling. With a newfound determination, Claire grabbed her backpack and headed toward the door, ready to embrace the adventure that awaited her. The familiar sights of her home melted away as she stepped onto the porch, the salty ocean breeze filling her lungs and invigorating her spirit. Each step toward the harbor felt like a leap into the unknown, an exhilarating blend of excitement and anticipation coursing through her veins. Turning to Sarah, who walked alongside her, Claire shared her excitement. "I can't wait to see what we find out there." Sarah smiled brightly, her enthusiasm infectious. "Just think of all the stories waiting to be uncovered." Claire felt a bubbling joy, knowing she was on the brink of not just an exploration, but a journey that would connect her to the past while paving the way for her future. Chapter 3: The Gathered Crew. The morning of the expedition dawned bright and clear, the sun glinting on the water as Claire and her team prepared to set sail. The harbor teemed with activity, fishermen hauling in their morning catch, while the scent of salt hung heavy in the air. Claire felt a thrill of excitement run through her as she assembled with her team, their anticipation palpable against the backdrop of the vibrant seaside. "Are we all set?" she called out, checking to see that everyone had their gear properly packed and secured. Tomas adjusted his equipment, glancing around at the bustling surroundings. "Everything looks good to go, but do we have a backup plan in case of unexpected changes?" Claire nodded, her heart racing with the thrill of the dive ahead. "We're ready for that. Just remember to communicate, and we'll adapt as needed." With the crew geared up and the boat ready, Claire felt a sense of unity form, bolstered by their shared commitment to explore the depths together. As the team gathered their equipment and prepared to board the boat, Claire felt a swell of excitement wash over her. The anticipation among her crew was palpable, and she could sense their eagerness mingling with a hint of nervousness. She stepped onto the boat first, her heart racing at the thought of the adventures that awaited them beneath the waves. "Everyone, let's make sure we're double-checking everything before we set sail," she instructed, urging her team to maintain focus as they began stowing their gear. However, as Tomas reached for the sonar equipment, he hesitated, looking around at the choppy water with a frown. "What if the conditions worsen while we're out there?" Claire turned to him, her resolve solidifying. "We've planned for this. Let's keep the lines of communication open. If things get dicey, we'll make adjustments." Feeling the weight of her words, Claire tucked a stray hair behind her ear, ready to lead her team into the unknown with confidence. As the crew boarded the boat, excitement rippled through the air, a shared thrill mingling with the salty breeze. Claire took her place at the helm, scanning the vast ocean spread before them. "Let's ensure we stay together once we dive," she reminded everyone, her voice cutting through the ambient noise of the waves. Tomas secured the sonar equipment, his brow furrowed in concentration. What if the currents pull us apart? We need a solid plan for that. Claire nodded, appreciating his caution. We can designate specific signals to regroup if we get separated. Communication is key. The team began to chatter enthusiastically, the energy transforming into a focused determination as they embraced the challenges ahead. Claire felt a swell of pride seeing them come together, ready to dive into the unknown. With the crew organized and ready, Claire felt a surge of excitement pulse through her as they prepared to embark on their journey. Let's go over safety protocols one more time, she suggested, wanting to ensure everyone felt secure before the dive. Tomas raised his hand. And remember to check your air tanks before we go under, he added, his concern reflecting his desire for the group's safety. Claire smiled at his thoughtfulness, appreciating how each member was taking responsibility. With everyone focused, Claire directed them to practice the signals for regrouping that she had outlined, reinforcing the importance of communication. As they practiced, the atmosphere lightened, and Claire saw the team dissolve their lingering anxieties, embracing the mission ahead with the fervor she had hoped to inspire. As Claire prepared to leave the dock, she took a moment to look back at the shore, the familiar sights fading into the background. Deep within her, a sense of determination sparked. This journey was about more than just exploration. It was about honoring her family's legacy and carving out her own path. Stepping onto the boat, she felt the excitement of the unknown wash over her, pushing aside the remnants of doubt. Tomas, always observant, approached her with a hint of hesitation. You really believe we can uncover something significant this time? He asked, vulnerability breaking through his usual confidence. Claire turned to him, her expression firm and reassuring. I do. We've trained for this, and together we can handle whatever challenges we face. Trust in our team. With this, Claire felt a renewed sense of unity among the crew as they set off, ready to embark on an adventure that promises not only to uncover lost history, but also to forge deeper connections along the way. As the boat moved further away from the dock, Claire felt the excitement of adventure settle in, mingling with the salty air that whipped around them. The sound of the engine thrummed beneath her, a reminder that they were heading into the unknown, and she embraced it wholeheartedly. She glanced at her crew, observing their interactions. Laughter and spirited chatter filled the space, solidifying their unity and purpose on this journey. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we hope to achieve, Claire suggested, wanting to ground them amid their enthusiasm. The team quieted, their expressions shifting to seriousness as they shared their personal goals and hopes for the dive, deepening their connection. Claire's heart swelled with pride at the shared ambitions, knowing that they were not just explorers, but a community ready to tackle whatever secrets awaited them beneath the waves. Chapter 4, The Gathering Storm. As the team approached the dive site, Claire felt a shiver of excitement course through her. The wreck loomed ahead, its massive silhouette partially submerged, an ancient secret waiting to be uncovered. But just as they readied themselves to descend, a rumble echoed from above, the sound vibrating through the water. The crew stopped, exchanging uncertain glances, and Claire's heart raced as she sensed the shift in the atmosphere, the thrill of adventure turning into an awareness of danger. Stay alert, she commanded, instinctively tightening the grip on her gear, preparing for whatever this disturbance could mean. She knew they had come too far to turn back now, but the tension in the water reminded her of the risks that lay ahead. Claire quickly turned to her team, the unease palpable amidst the anticipation. We need to reassess our dive plan, she said, her voice steady as she glanced toward the wreck. Everyone listened intently, the weight of the rumble still lingering in the air. Keep an eye out for any signs of instability, she instructed, urging them to prioritize safety before excitement. Tomas nodded, his earlier trepidation resurfacing as he scanned the area, his instincts on high alert. I'll check the sonar readings again to ensure everything is stable, he replied, stepping back to the equipment, demonstrating his commitment to their safety. With everyone focused on the task at hand, Claire gestured for them to move toward a more stable section of the boat. Let's ensure that we are completely coordinated before we proceed, she said, her gaze sweeping over the team, checking for any signs of hesitation. James stepped up, checking the air tanks and ensuring everyone's gear was secure. We've trained for moments like this. We just have to keep our heads clear, he reassured the group, his steadiness providing a calming presence. As Claire watched him, a flicker of gratitude filled her. She knew their teamwork would be crucial in navigating the uncertainties ahead. Good idea, James. Let's double-check all the gear before we dive, Claire echoed, instilling confidence in everyone as they adhered to their safety protocols. Resolute, she took a deep breath, feeling her leadership strengthen as they prepared to face the unknown together, trusting in their collective abilities to adapt. As they stood ready to dive, Claire sensed the uncertainty still lingering among her team, their apprehension palpable. Facing the group, she met their eyes, determined to instill confidence. Remember, we're in this together. If anything feels off, we adapt, just like we trained. Tomas shifted, his brow furrowing as he glanced at the dark waters below. You really think we should go ahead after that noise we heard? Claire stepped closer to him, sensing his hesitation. I know it's daunting, but we've faced challenges before. Trust in our training and the strength of our teamwork, she replied, her voice soothing yet confident. The team exchanged glances, some nodding while others hesitated, and Claire could feel the weight of leadership pressing on her, knowing their confidence relied heavily on her direction. With a deep breath, she resolved to lead by example, feeling a determination swell within her as she prepared to dive into the depths where discoveries awaited them. With the team's eyes fixed on her, Claire felt the energy coalesce around their shared purpose. Let's take a moment to remind ourselves why we're here, she said, her tone filled with conviction as she led them to the boat's railing to gaze out over the water. We're not just diving for treasures. We're uncovering stories that need to be told. Each artifact holds a piece of our history, she continued, aiming to reignite their passion. The crew began to nod, their apprehension giving way to a flicker of excitement as they considered the significance of their mission. Focus on that goal, and don't let fear dictate your actions, Claire urged, sensing the shift in atmosphere as courage began to replace doubt. With renewed determination, they exchanged supportive glances, and Claire knew that together they would confront whatever lay beneath the surface, emboldened by their collective ambitions. As the final preparations came to a close, Claire looked at her team with a renewed sense of purpose. Let's dive, she exclaimed, the excitement bubbling over as she led them to the edge of the boat. They plunged into the water together, the cool embrace washing over them and instantly sharpening their focus. The thrill of the descent reminded Claire of the weight of their mission, every heartbeat syncing with the pulse of adventure that awaited them. She signaled for everyone to stay close, drawing on the trust they had built as they approached the wreck. With a determined heart, Claire felt ready to face not only the depths, but also the stories waiting to be uncovered, confident in her crew's capability as they ventured into the unknown. Chapter 5, Facing the Unknown. As Claire and her team descended into the depths, a rush of adrenaline surged through her, the thrill of exploration igniting her senses. The wreck gradually came into view, a haunting silhouette against the murky water, and Claire felt her heart race with every passing moment. They cautiously approached, the vibrant marine life swirling around them, adding to the eerie beauty of the scene. Stay close, she reminded her team, the urgency in her voice underscoring the need for focus amid the excitement. Claire pointed out areas of interest as they examined the exterior of the wreck, each moment deepening her curiosity about the ship's history. Suddenly, a loud creaking noise echoed through the water, an unsettling reminder of the precariousness of their situation, and Claire felt the weight of responsibility settle heavily on her shoulders. As the team steadied themselves against the wreck, Claire noticed excitement bubbling among her crew, their earlier anxieties momentarily forgotten. Look at this detail, James exclaimed, pointing to an ornate carving along the hull, his admiration infectious as they all gathered closer to examine the find. The intricate designs seemed to tell a story of the ship's past, and Claire felt her heart swell with eagerness to uncover more. Yet, The underlying tension returned when Claire remembered the creaking sounds they had heard earlier. "Let's proceed carefully and document everything," she reminded them, her intuition urging caution. Thomas, still visibly shaken by the earlier noise, hesitated. "Are we sure it's safe to keep exploring? I feel uneasy about this." Claire turned to him, sensing the conflict rising again. "I understand your concerns, but part of our journey is learning to navigate the risks that arise. Let's keep moving and see what we can uncover." Claire, noticing the unease lingering in Tomas's demeanor, stepped closer to him as the team continued to examine the wreck. "Let's take this one step at a time," she encouraged, her voice steady as she sought to reassure him. "If at any point it doesn't feel right, we'll pull back." Tomas nodded, visibly torn but willing to follow her lead as Claire initiated a more cautious approach. Turning her attention back to the rest of the group, Claire gathered her thoughts, ready to reinforce the confidence and enthusiasm they shared earlier. "We'll document every finding meticulously. Let's make sure to communicate if anything feels off," she added, emphasizing the importance of teamwork. The team responded positively, and Claire felt a ripple of solidarity flow among them, each member drawing strength from their collective resolve as they prepared to delve deeper into the wreck. However, the vibrations from the ship shifted as if echoing their earlier doubts, a reminder that the ocean's secrets could yield both discovery and potential danger. As they began to explore a deeper part of the wreck, Claire spotted an area that seemed promising, dark shadows hiding unknown treasures. "Let's check this out," she said, gesturing for the team to follow her lead, excitement bubbling beneath her surface as they ventured toward the shadows. The crew moved cautiously, scanning their surroundings, their collective focus tightening as they drew closer to the unknown. "Wait," Tomas interrupted, letting concern flash across his face. "I feel like we shouldn't go any further without knowing what's in there." Claire took a moment to reassess, her instincts rising as she acknowledged his unease. "You're right to be cautious. Let's use the sonar to check if there's any instability in that section first," she suggested, emphasizing the need for a careful approach while maintaining momentum. As the team readied the sonar, she felt the weight of her earlier uncertainty lift slightly. Adapting their strategy showcased her growing leadership and commitment to safety as they navigated this turbulent journey. With the sonar readings in place, Claire's confidence sparked anew, and she resolved to face the deeper mysteries with the combined strengths of her team. As the sonar equipment beeped steadily, Claire and her team gathered around to analyze the readings. The screen lit up with data, revealing a clearer picture of what lay ahead, and Claire felt a surge of anticipation course through her. "Looks like there's a section that's relatively stable," James noted, pointing at the sonar display, his enthusiasm catching. "Good, let's focus there," Claire responded, her excitement tempered with the responsibility to ensure the team's safety throughout the exploration. Tomas, appearing more confident now, added, "We'll need to document everything carefully as we proceed." Claire nodded, appreciating his insight. This collaboration highlighted the growth of trust within the team. Feeling a renewed sense of clarity, she encouraged them all to move forward with determination, knowing that adapting their approach was key to uncovering the secrets hidden within the wreck. The team regrouped, each member eager to dive deeper into the wreck with their new strategic approach in mind. Claire felt a surge of determination as she led the way, her excitement blending with a caution born from earlier experiences. "Stay close and communicate," she reminded them, her voice steady, guiding everyone toward the safer passage they had identified. As they navigated the wreck, small discoveries began to emerge. Pieces of pottery, old tools, remnants of a life once lived at sea. Each find sparked a thrill within Claire, reigniting the curiosity she had felt on her first dive. She encouraged her team to document their discoveries meticulously, ensuring they built on the lessons learned during their previous challenges, ready to adapt and embrace whatever lay ahead. Chapter 6, The Call of Adventure. As the team surfaced from the depths, Claire felt an overwhelming rush of exhilaration coursing through her. The thrill of discovery still danced in her mind, tempered only by their shared exhaustion as they clambered back onto the boat. Let's get everything secured and assess what we've found, she instructed, the excitement of the dive still evident in her voice. The crew nodded, eager to start sorting through the artifacts they had gathered, their camaraderie buoying their spirits despite the challenges they had faced. Everyone did great down there, Claire praised, her heart swelling with pride at how they had worked as a cohesive unit. The sense of accomplishment began to fill the boat, but Claire also noticed the faint traces of doubt lingering in Thomas's eyes as he checked the gear, reminding her that navigating uncertainties was still a part of their journey. As Claire gathered the artifacts, her mind raced with excitement over their findings, yet the weight of responsibility sat heavily on her shoulders. She carefully examined each piece, ensuring its safe handling while taking mental notes on their significance and potential stories. "Let's divide the artifacts for documentation," she suggested, trying to maintain focus as she felt the energy of the moment. Tomas approached, his brow furrowed, voicing his apprehensions. "Are we sure these items are safe to bring back? What if they spark unwanted attention?" Claire paused, recognizing the validity of his concern, yet eager to address it. "We'll take every precaution. Documenting our findings is crucial, especially if we want to share them with the community." Her assured tone sparked a conversation, with others chiming in to reinforce Claire's perspective. They began discussing the logistics of securing the artifacts while still facing the lingering shadows of doubt, creating a sense of urgency to solidify their plans. As the team organized themselves around the table, Claire took charge, delegating tasks based on each member's strengths. "Allison, can you start documenting these artifacts? We need a thorough inventory while we figure out the next steps," Claire instructed, her tone filled with trust. Allison nodded, ready to begin, though Claire sensed a flicker of uncertainty as she glanced at the items. "Tomas, once Allison has the details, can you analyze their historical context?" Claire continued, hoping to empower him with a clear role. Thomas took a deep breath, his anxiety shifting to determination as he replied, "Absolutely. I'll look into the potential connections we might uncover." Claire felt the team rally around her, but she still noticed the remnants of doubt hanging in the air from earlier. Knowing they needed to solidify their commitment, Claire encouraged open dialogue about how they could approach the upcoming community presentation, allowing everyone to contribute their thoughts as the team dynamic began to strengthen. As the preparations unfolded, Claire noticed Tomas lingering by the documentation station, his brow furrowed as he examined the items closely. "Are we sure about presenting these findings to the community?" he voiced again, a hint of doubt creeping back into his tone. Claire stepped closer, wanting to ease his apprehensions. "I understand your concerns, but we've uncovered history that needs to be shared. It's vital for the community to understand what we're protecting," she reassured him. Thomas looked at her, the determination in her eyes sparking something within him, though his hesitation lingered. "I just worry about the reaction. What if they don't support us?" he questioned, revealing his insecurities. "Then we can address that together," Claire replied, her conviction unwavering. "We'll handle any complications as a team, dedicated to preserving our history and educating others." Feeling the shift in the air, Claire knew this moment would test their resolve, but she was ready to support her team through any challenge that lay ahead. With the conversation still fresh on their minds, Claire turned to the entire team, ready to emphasize their shared mission. "Every decision we make will impact how our community views us," she said, her voice steady as she gathered their attention. "Let's ensure that our presentation is clear about our intentions. We need to communicate our goals effectively." The team members nodded, feeling the weight of her words. They were in this together, and it was crucial to present a united front. Allison chimed in, suggesting they incorporate poignant stories that connected the artifacts to their cultural significance, igniting a flurry of ideas from the group. Claire felt the momentum building, confidence surging within her as she observed the enthusiasm among her teammates. Their collective creativity breathed life into the project, pushing past any earlier doubts. She knew that managing this energy would be essential as they moved forward, capable of transforming challenges into opportunities for growth and connection with the community. With energy filling the room, Claire felt a renewed sense of purpose as the team finalized their plans. "Let's assign someone to oversee the technical aspects of the presentation," she suggested, aiming to cover all bases and ensure nothing was overlooked. Tomas raised his hand, eager to take on that responsibility, his earlier doubts now replaced with confidence. "I can handle that. I'll make sure we have everything set up right." Claire smiled, proud of the way he had embraced his role within the team. Allison added, "And I can manage the visual displays. I'll create something engaging that captures everyone's interest." Claire nodded, feeling a warmth of camaraderie blossom as they outlined their contributions, each member stepping forward with enthusiasm. Recognizing their strengths had evolved into a stronger dynamic, she felt assured that they could navigate any challenges and continue to grow together as a cohesive unit. Chapter 7, Navigating New Waters. As the day of the community event approached, Claire and her team converged at the research facility, filled with a mix of excitement and nerves. The room buzzed with activity as they set up displays, complete with artifacts and informational posters about maritime history. "Let's make sure everything is organized properly," Claire instructed, walking among the tables to check on their progress. She felt a sense of pride as she observed her team working collaboratively, each member dedicated to making the event a success. Tomas was enthusiastically arranging the artifacts, while Allison created engaging visuals that drew attention and conveyed important information. The camaraderie among the group was palpable, and Claire felt a surge of gratitude for the connection they had forged over the course of their journey. As Claire continued to supervise the setup, she observed how her team was starting to develop their own rhythm. Tomas, standing atop a small ladder to hang a banner, called down, "How does this look?" Claire smiled, nodding in approval. "It looks great. Just make sure it's straight." With each interaction, she noticed how Tomas had grown more confident in his role, his earlier reservations fading as he embraced the task. Meanwhile, Allison approached with a series of pamphlets she had created, a sense of accomplishment evident in her stride. "I think these will really help engage the community," she said, handing them to Claire for review. Claire examined the materials, impressed by the thought and detail included. "You've done an amazing job, Allison. This will definitely draw interest." As the team continued their preparations, Claire felt a renewed sense of purpose in their mission, knowing that each small effort was bringing them closer to their goal of inspiring the community through their discoveries. As the setup progressed, Claire noticed a few hesitant glances exchanged between some team members. James approached her, a furrowed brow hinting at underlying concerns. "Do you really think the community will be interested in what we have to say?" he asked, his voice laced with uncertainty. Claire paused, feeling the gravity of his question. "I believe they will. We're offering them a glimpse into a history that connects us all," she replied, trying to instill confidence in him. But James wasn't fully convinced, furrowing his brow further. "What if they don't care? What if they see it as just treasures?" Claire took a moment to reflect on this, recognizing the significance of building a bridge between their discoveries and the community's identity. "We need to show them that these artifacts are more than just things. They are part of our shared story. If we communicate that effectively, they will connect with it," she emphasized, finding strength in her conviction. Feeling a shift in the mood, Claire saw the other team members become engaged in their tasks again, though James seemed to linger, still questioning. Clarifying her stance, Claire reached out. "Let's keep gathering everything that highlights the positive impact our work can have. Together, we can make this meaningful." With the conversation lingering in her mind, Claire decided to approach Tomas, sensing that he still had reservations about their mission. "Hey, can we talk for a moment?" she asked, pulling him aside away from the bustling preparations. Tomas looked uncertain, but agreed, his body language still tense. "I just worry that we're not ready for the attention we'll get after the workshop," he admitted, his honesty revealing the weight of his concerns. Claire took a breath, recognizing the importance of addressing his feelings. "I understand your hesitation, but think about how many people we can inspire. We can't shy away from that," she said gently. "But what if our message gets lost, Or worse, what if we become targets for others who want to exploit our findings? Thomas countered, the underlying fear surfacing once more. Claire placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder, wanting to reinforce trust. We will implement measures to protect our discoveries. Our focus needs to be on educating and sharing knowledge. Together, we can navigate any challenges that arise. Seeing a flicker of understanding in Thomas's expression, Claire felt hopeful that they could overcome these doubts together. With their conversation drawing to a close, Claire noticed a shift in Thomas's demeanor. His posture began to relax, and a hint of determination sparked in his eyes. "You're right. I just need to focus on the impact we can make," he said, his voice more resolute now. Claire felt a wave of relief wash over her, appreciating his willingness to embrace the purpose of their mission. "Exactly. We're in a unique position to educate the community and share something meaningful," she replied, her enthusiasm contagious. She could sense the team's energy picking up again as they continued to engage in their preparations, the earlier doubts starting to fade. Watching them, Claire knew that fostering these conversations was key to building the trust and strength they needed for the challenges ahead. With the atmosphere buzzing with renewed energy, Claire felt a sense of pride watching her team come together. "Let's finalize what each of us will present at the workshop," she suggested, eager to capitalize on their momentum and ensure that everyone felt included in the upcoming event. Tomas volunteered to cover the historical context of the artifacts, his earlier hesitation replaced by eagerness. "I'll make sure to connect the dots between our findings and the local history," he said, confidence shining through. Allison chimed in, adding her ideas about incorporating interactive elements into the presentation, showcasing her growing sense of ownership in the process. Claire marked down their roles, feeling the camaraderie solidifying as everyone contributed. "This is what teamwork looks like," she encouraged, recognizing that their shared efforts not only elevated the event, but also nurtured individual growth within each member of the team. With plans taking shape and excitement hanging in the air, Claire knew they were building something meaningful together, ready to embrace the journey ahead. Chapter 8: The Tides Turn. As the community workshop approached, Claire felt the excitement bubbling within her, intertwining with the pressure of expectation. The team gathered to finalize the logistics, setting up tables, arranging artifacts, and ensuring every detail was in place. "Let's make sure everything is organized before the crowd arrives," she called out, her leadership tone instilling a sense of urgency among her teammates. Tomas was busy aligning the displays, his focus sharpened as he arranged the artifacts with precision. "How do you want the layout for the presentation?" he asked, seeking Claire's input to ensure everyone was on the same page. Claire considered the space, visualizing how to best engage the community. "Let's start with the more captivating artifacts at the front and weave in our stories through visuals." Feeling the team rally around her suggestions, she knew they were on the cusp of something meaningful, ready to share their passion for maritime history with the world. As Claire moved around the room, she noticed the familiar faces of community members beginning to gather, their presence amplifying the energy that filled the air. Excitement crackled as conversations bubbled among the attendees, and Claire felt a rush of gratitude for the support that surrounded her. "Today is about sharing what we've learned and fostering a love for our history," Claire reminded her team, her eyes shining with purpose. Sarah approached with a stack of pamphlets, her expression determined. "Do you think these will engage the kids?" "I tried to make them visually appealing," she said, handing them over for Claire's approval. Claire glanced at the colorful brochures, impressed by the care Sarah had taken. "These are fantastic. They'll definitely catch their attention." Just then, a doubt surfaced among the crowd as a skeptical voice emerged. "What makes you think this is worth our time?" A local resident interjected, arms crossed, drawing the attention of the group. Claire felt a spike of tension at the question, her heart racing as she turned to face the skeptical resident. "We believe it's important to share our journey and the knowledge we've uncovered," she began, trying to project confidence despite her rising anxiety. The room fell silent, all eyes fixed on her as she continued. "These artifacts tell stories that connect us to our past and together, we can learn how to preserve that history for future generations. The resident remained unconvinced, folding their arms tighter. But what if it's just a waste of time? Why should we care about old objects? Claire took a deep breath, determined not to back down. These old objects are a glimpse into the lives of those who came before us. They teach us valuable lessons about who we are as a community, she replied, her voice steady, revealing her passion for their mission. Seeing a few nods from the audience sparked hope in her heart, and she realized the necessity of standing firm against skepticism while fostering genuine connections. Many of us have family histories tied to the sea, whether through fishing, trading, or exploration, Claire continued, hoping to connect with the audience on a personal level. The collective murmurs in the room began to shift as she spoke, curiosity replacing skepticism among some community members. By learning about this history, we not only honor those who came before us, but we can also ensure that our community thrives in the future, she added, her conviction growing stronger. Thomas stepped forward, backing her up. We're not just talking about relics. We're talking about preserving our identity and letting future generations know where they come from. The skeptical resident's posture began to shift as he listened, still hesitant but seemingly intrigued by their perspective. Feeling the momentum building, Claire noticed more hands raised to ask deeper questions about the project. Each inquiry, a step toward fostering engagement and collaboration within the community. With the atmosphere shifting toward enthusiasm, Claire seized the opportunity to elaborate on their goals. Imagine a world where local schools incorporate maritime history into their education, where kids learn about their heritage while engaging with the community, she proposed, her excitement bubbling over. The audience began to respond, some nodding in agreement and others murmuring excitedly about the potential for collaboration. Allison, emboldened by the positive energy, added, "We could even include fun activities like coastal cleanups that tie into our workshops." Claire felt a sense of pride as she watched her team members step up, fueled by their collective vision for change. The initial doubts had transformed into a vibrant discussion, and Claire realized that they were forging connections that could shape the future of their community. It was a turning point, and she knew that this engagement would set the stage for the legacy they wanted to create together. As the discussions continued to gain momentum, Claire felt a surge of excitement wash over her. The community's enthusiasm was infectious, and she watched with pride as ideas flourished and plans began to take shape. Let's make sure we capture the stories of our local fishermen and incorporate them into our workshops, Tomas suggested, his earlier hesitations now a distant memory as he fully engaged. Yes, those stories are as much a part of our history as the artifacts we found, Claire responded, feeling the team's shared commitment deepen. With each new contribution, Claire felt her confidence solidify, understanding that they were not just unveiling the past, but also paving the way for future generations. As the energy in the room lifted, Claire knew that their hard work and collective vision would resonate within the community, forging connections that would last long after the workshops concluded. Chapter 9, Eerie Discoveries. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Claire and her team prepared for their next dive. Excitement mingled with a sense of urgency in the air. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation, each member moving with purpose as they loaded equipment onto the boat. "Let's make sure everything is secure before we leave," Claire instructed, surveying their gear to ensure nothing was overlooked. Tomas checked the sonar equipment, running through a mental checklist, a frown creasing his brow. "This wreck feels different. I can't shake the feeling that something's off," he said, his intuition sparking concern. Claire sensed the tension in his words and felt her heart race slightly, reminded of the uncertainties they faced in their journey. "Stay focused, everyone. We've trained for this," she reassured the crew, pushing aside her own anxiety as she led them forward, determined to uncover the next chapter of their adventure beneath the waves. As the team maneuvered the boat into position, Claire felt the familiar rush of anticipation wash over her. She positioned herself near the edge, scanning the water with eagerness, but also a flicker of apprehension, acutely aware of the challenges that lay ahead. "Let's deploy the sonar before we dive," she instructed, her tone a blend of excitement and focus, keen to set a systematic approach to their next steps. James quickly adjusted the equipment, while others secured their diving gear, all operating with an energy that reflected their earlier camaraderie. However, the unease persisted in Thomas's expression as he peered over the side, glancing at the rippling waters. "What if something is waiting for us down there? The shadows are shifting." Claire turned to him, her resolve solidifying. "The shadows can't conceal what we aim to discover. We're prepared for what we'll find," she insisted, trying to instill confidence while recognizing the tension in the air. With a final gesture to ensure everyone was ready, Claire stepped back, determined to lead them with confidence into the depths below. As the team prepared to dive, Claire gathered them once more at the edge of the boat, the anticipation in the air palpable. "Keep your signals in mind and trust your instincts," she reminded them, reinforcing the importance of communication as they readied to enter the water. The waves crashed rhythmically against the hull, a constant backdrop to their excitement, yet Claire could feel the tension among her crew, with Thomas still frowning at the depths below. "We've trained for this," she said, trying to ease his worries. "We're explorers, and part of that means facing uncertainty head-on." Thomas nodded slowly, but Claire sensed that his doubts lingered, a reminder of the risks they faced. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward, ready to lead them into the unknown, determined to transform their cautious energy into a collective strength as they dove beneath the surface. With a final glance at her team, Claire took a step closer to the side of the boat, the water shimmering just below them. "On my count, we jump in together," she called out, raising her voice to cut through the sound of the waves and the chatter of excitement among her crew. Everyone nodded, drawing closer, their eyes reflecting the mixture of excitement and anxiety that filled the air. 1, 2, 3, jump!" Claire shouted, and they leaped into the water, breaking the surface with fervor. The sudden immersion in the cool ocean sent a rush of adrenaline through Claire, washing away her lingering doubts as they all descended together. She could feel the camaraderie binding them tighter under the waves, and as they dove deeper, her heart raced with the thrill of adventure and the promise of discovery looming nearby. As Claire and her team reached the depths, signals from the sonar equipment filled the silence, guiding them toward the outlines of the wreck. The darkened water around them swirled with life, but Claire felt a sense of thrill mixed with caution as they approached the ancient ship. "Keep an eye on your gauges and stay close," she instructed, her voice steadying the team as anxiety gave way to focused determination. They maneuvered around broken pieces of the wreck, the shimmers of the artifacts catching their attention and igniting excitement. "Look over here," Thomas exclaimed, pointing to a decorative figure half buried in the sand, his earlier doubts quickly replaced by enthusiasm. Claire felt a rush of pride in how her team was adapting. They were all engaged, working together, and channeling their instinctive caution into curiosity and exploration. As they gathered around the intricate figure, Claire felt a thrill of accomplishment surge through her. "Let's document this find before we move on," she instructed, her command infusing the team with purpose as they shifted into focused action. The crew snapped photos and took notes, excitement palpable in the water as each member contributed their observations and insights. However, as they continued their exploration, Claire sensed the shadows growing darker, and the earlier creaks echoed ominously. "Keep an eye on the structure. Remember what we discussed about safety," she reminded the team, her intuition urging caution amidst the thrill of discovery. Even as excitement coursed through them, Claire's resolve to lead effectively and prioritize their safety remained strong, guiding them deeper into the mysteries of the wreck. Chapter 10: Unforeseen Challenges. As they surfaced from the wreck, exhilaration washed over Claire and her team, but the atmosphere quickly shifted as they noticed the brewing storm on the horizon. The winds picked up, the previously tranquil waters now roiling, a stark reminder of nature's power and unpredictability. "Let's get everything secured quickly," Claire shouted, her voice cutting through the increasing noise of the waves crashing against the boat. Thomas worked alongside James, securing equipment with urgency, their earlier excitement replaced by a sense of imminent danger. "Do you think we have enough time to get back safely?" Tomas asked, concern etched on his features as he glanced at the gathering clouds. Claire held his gaze, determination in her eyes as she replied, "We'll navigate back carefully. Trust in our training and our team." As the storm clouds gathered, Claire quickly gathered her team for a strategic discussion, the urgency palpable as they prepared to navigate the turbulent waters. "Let's assess our route back to the harbor," Claire instructed, her mind racing through the optimal path that would avoid the worst of the conditions. James directed the boat's course, while Tomas monitored the waves, working together to ensure their safety as the boat rocked beneath them. Amidst the chaos, Claire noticed a shift. Some crew members were still jittery from the earlier dive and uncertain about the challenges they might face. "Stay focused, everyone. We've faced challenges before, and we're equipped to handle this," Claire reassured them, her voice steady as she sought to reinforce their team's resilience. With the team's trust in her growing, Claire felt a swell of confidence. She was ready to lead them and navigate the impending storm together. As the winds howled and the waves churned beneath them, Claire felt the weight of the situation pressing in. "Hold on tight," she shouted, gripping the wheel as the boat pitched forward, sending a spray of seawater crashing over the sides. Tomas, now clearly anxious, called from the back, "I'm not sure we can make it back like this. The waves are too rough." Claire locked eyes with him, her resolve hardening. "We need to trust our training. I've navigated worse. Just follow our procedures." James focused intently on the instruments, adjusting their course as he scanned the horizon for a clearer path. "Adjusting course to the left," he yelled, working diligently to keep them steady amidst the chaos. With her team rallying around her, Claire felt her leadership anchor them even as the storm raged on, knowing that their collective courage would guide them through the tempest ahead. As they navigated the turbulent waters, Claire's mind raced with strategies to keep her team safe. "Let's try to maintain a steady rhythm. We can't let the waves overwhelm us," she called out, her voice slicing through the roar of the wind. James adjusted their course, looking back over his shoulder with a determined expression. "We should steer closer to the cliffs. It may shield us from the worst of the storm." Claire considered his advice, recognizing the strategic maneuvering that could ease their journey, and instantly made the decision. "That's a solid plan. Let's go for it." The team fell into a rhythm, working together to adapt to the tumultuous conditions as they tilted side to side, trusting each other's skills and instincts. Claire felt the pulse of adrenaline push her forward, and her confidence surged as they successfully navigated closer to the cliffs, fortified by their shared commitment and strategy. As they neared the cliffs, the wind began to subside and the waters grew more manageable, a relief washing over the team. Claire encouraged her crew, "We're doing great. Keep focused, and let's make our way to the dive site safely." The tension in the air began to lift, replaced by a renewed sense of determination as Claire felt the team rally around their shared goal. Tomas glanced at her, a smile breaking through his earlier doubts. "I knew we could navigate it together," he said, his tone lighter as he contributed to the buoyant atmosphere. "Absolutely. Let's get ready for the dive and secure everything," Claire replied, her confidence bolstered by the successful navigation through the storm. They worked together efficiently, and as the boat steadied, Claire couldn't help but feel that their adaptability and persistence had transformed the challenge into a testament of their growth as a team. With a steady course ahead, Claire took a moment to regroup her thoughts and assess their next steps. "Let's gather our equipment and prepare for the dive. We have a lot to document," she instructed, her voice filled with renewed confidence. As the team moved quickly to gather their gear, Claire felt the camaraderie solidify around her. Each member was focused and energized. Tomas was especially eager, checking the cameras and lighting gear with meticulous attention. "This will be our chance to capture everything clearly," he stated, determination lighting his eyes. Claire noticed how the incident during their approach had transformed the dynamics within the team, enhancing their commitment to safety and preparation. Feeling a sense of pride swell within her, she took a deep breath. knowing that this dive would not only be a testament to their hard work, but also an opportunity to uncover new facets of history and deepen their connection to the ocean. Chapter 11, A Meeting of Minds. The atmosphere in the research facility was charged as Claire met with the rival treasure hunters, who were now closer to their community than ever before. Concern rippled through her team as they entered. The stark contrast between their group and the newcomers was palpable, heightening the tension in the room. "Thanks for meeting us here," Marcus, the leader of the opposing group, greeted her with a tight smile, his eyes scanning the artifacts that the team had so diligently documented. Claire felt a wave of determination wash over her. "We're glad to share our findings. Collaboration could lead to mutual benefit for both our teams," she replied, focusing on maintaining a professional demeanor. As they began negotiating terms for their collective efforts, she noticed the skepticism in Marcus's posture, reminding her that trust had to be earned. The conversation flowed naturally, but Claire remained vigilant, knowing that any misstep could disrupt the fragile alliance they were trying to forge. Claire took a deep breath, overcoming her nerves as she presented the artifacts laid out on the table, each piece shimmering with history. "This is what we've discovered so far," she began, turning to the rival team. "Each item tells a story of the lives that once sailed these waters." Marcus leaned in closer, scrutinizing the artifacts with a hint of skepticism. "And what makes you think we should collaborate? Treasure hunting is often about competing first." Claire recognized the underlying challenge in his tone, choosing her words carefully. "Collaboration could provide both teams with deeper insights and better preservation efforts. We can share resources and knowledge that benefit everyone." As she spoke, she observed the reactions from both her team members and the rival group, sensing a bubbling tension that hinted at underlying rivalries. Tomas shifted uncomfortably, clearly reluctant to trust the rival hunters, while James murmured softly, prompting Claire to maintain focus and reassure her team of their shared mission. Feeling her confidence rise, Claire pressed on. "We can create something meaningful together, more than just hunting for treasures. Treasure hunting may be competitive, but the artifacts we've uncovered hold significance beyond the hunt," Claire continued, her voice steady despite the palpable tension in the room. Marcus shifted slightly, considering her words, while revealing a flicker of curiosity in his eyes. "If the community sees us fighting, they may lose trust in both our teams," he stated. His tone softened slightly, hinting at the possibility of agreement. Claire noticed this small shift, interpreting it as an opening to further negotiate their collaboration. "Exactly. Together, we can create educational programs and enhance the understanding of what we're retrieving from the ocean," she emphasized, showcasing her desire to foster a collective spirit. Meanwhile, Tomas glanced at Claire, his expression still uncertain, but showing slight encouragement at her assertiveness. Seeing her team's support encouraged Claire's courage, propelling her to push for a greater partnership as she awaited Marcus's response, feeling the stakes rise with each moment in their negotiation. Claire felt a moment of stillness as she waited for Marcus's response, the air thick with anticipation. Finally, he leaned back slightly, weighing her words as he glanced at his crew, who exchanged skeptical looks among themselves. "I've been in this business long enough to know that promises can be easily broken," Marcus replied, his voice still cautious, but there was less of an edge to it. Claire's conviction solidified as she responded, "That's why it's crucial to set clear terms and expectations moving forward, so there's accountability on both sides." She could sense a shift. Some members of Marcus's crew were nodding, intrigued by the potential of collaboration instead of rivalry. Realizing this was the pivotal moment, Claire leaned in, determined to emphasize the benefits of a partnership. "Imagine the impact we could make on the community if we combined our efforts, preserving history rather than competing over it." This plea for unity hung in the air, and Claire felt the collective weight of their shared ambitions slowly begin to sway the dynamics in their favor. Marcus paused, contemplating Claire's words as he surveyed the room. The tension among his crew remained, but a few individuals appeared to be considering the potential benefits of collaboration. "I suppose there's merit in what you're saying," Marcus admitted, his guarded demeanor softening. If we can operate without stepping on each other's toes, perhaps we can both benefit from this dive. Claire felt a spark of hope at his response, her steadfastness beginning to break down barriers. Exactly. Let's create a working agreement that prioritizes our shared goals while safeguarding our discoveries, she proposed, seeing the opportunity to forge a new alliance. Thomas managed a smile, feeling encouraged by the shift as the tension began to ease, and the dialogue opened pathways of collaboration. As Claire watched the team react, a sense of camaraderie began to develop, and she knew this moment could redefine their journey ahead. With tentative agreement reached, Claire felt a wave of relief settle over her as she outlined the next steps for both teams. Let's schedule regular check-ins to review our progress and ensure we're aligned, she said, her voice filled with determination. Marcus nodded, a hint of respect shining in his eyes as he acknowledged her leadership. Setting up those meetings could help us both stay on track. The atmosphere shifted noticeably, a growing sense of partnership replacing the initial tension. Tomas chimed in, and we can share our findings and methodologies to uncover more insights. Claire glanced at her team, pride swelling in her chest as she saw their commitment solidifying. In that moment, she understood that their willingness to collaborate not only expanded their mission, but reinforced the relationships that would carry them through future challenges ahead. Chapter 12, The Hidden Discovery. The exhilaration from their previous discoveries still hung in the air as Claire and her team gathered in the research facility to analyze their findings. A table was cluttered with artifacts, each piece telling a story of the past, and Claire felt a rush of excitement as she prepared to document their observations. "This is our moment to showcase what we've uncovered," she said, her enthusiasm infectious as the team huddled closer around the table. Thomas began taking notes, eager to capture every detail and historical context, while Allison sorted through photographs of their dive, excitedly sharing the visuals with the group. The atmosphere brimmed with energy, but Claire noticed a distant expression on some faces, recalling doubts lingering beneath the surface. She took a deep breath, ready to address any concerns, knowing that their success anchored on trust and communication among the team. As they examined the artifacts, Claire uncovered a beautifully ornate box, its intricate carvings mesmerizing under the bright lights of the facility. She carefully opened it, revealing a collection of old maps that had once belonged to ancient sailors, their yellowed edges hinting at the tales carried within. "This is incredible!" Claire exclaimed, her excitement palpable as she turned to the group. These maps could provide invaluable insights into the trade routes and history of our area. Tomas leaned in closer, inspecting the details with keen interest. "This could change how we view our local maritime past," he said, clearly energized by the discovery. But as Claire noted the potential implications of their findings, she also sensed an undercurrent of tension in the room, some team members still processing the weight of their previous dive. Determined to build on their success, Claire encouraged everyone to share their thoughts and ideas, knowing that collaboration would amplify their effectiveness and deepen their understanding of the significance of what they had found. As Claire shared her excitement, the energy in the room shifted, with team members reflecting on the significance of the ornate box and the maps within it. Tomas began jotting down notes, his earlier apprehensions giving way to curiosity as he visualized the historical implications. "We could organize a presentation to share these findings with the community," he suggested, envisioning the potential impact of their discoveries. However, not everyone was as optimistic. Allison hesitated, crossing her arms. "But what if we lose or damage them? We've already faced obstacles." Claire could sense the unease among her team, the memory of their previous challenges lingering in the air. "I understand your concerns, but that's why we need to focus on how to protect and document these artifacts," she reassured, her determination rising. "Let's create a system for safeguarding our findings. Together, we can ensure this history is preserved," Claire proposed, ready to reinforce their commitment to their mission. Her words resonated with the group, igniting conversation and collaboration as they began to process their options, united in purpose and ready to face any uncertainties together. With an atmosphere thick with anticipation, Claire began outlining the steps they needed to take to secure their findings. "We'll need to carefully catalog everything we've uncovered," she stated, gathering the group's attention as they focused on her words. Tomas nodded, noting the importance of the task at hand. "I can set up a digital database for all the maps and artifacts, keeping everything accessible and organized." "That sounds perfect," Claire responded, encouraged by his initiative. "Let's ensure that we document each piece both physically and digitally." As they discussed the logistics, Claire noticed that the tension from earlier was dwindling, replaced by a sense of shared purpose. However, Allison raised another concern. "And what about securing additional support for preservation? We might need more resources if the community becomes involved." Claire recognized the importance of this feedback. It reminded her of the increasing stakes involved in their endeavors. "We can reach out to the Historical Society for grants and support. I'll make that a priority." Taking a moment to absorb their commitment, Claire felt a surge of confidence as they transformed their earlier doubts into tangible plans, setting a strong foundation for their mission ahead. As the team rallied around Claire's leadership, a wave of determination washed over them. "Let's break into smaller groups to gather the necessary supplies and information," she instructed, her voice ringing with confidence. "This way we can cover more ground quickly." Tomas and Allison agreed, moving into action as they began assigning roles for the tasks ahead. Claire felt invigorated by their energy, recognizing that this was a pivotal moment in their mission to engage the community and preserve their findings. Watching her team work together harmoniously, she sensed their earlier doubts fading, replaced by a sense of unity and shared purpose. Yet, lingering in the back of her mind were the unresolved risks they might face, reminding her that every step forward came with its own challenges. With everyone energized and working towards their tasks, Claire felt a profound sense of purpose settle over her. She moved between groups, checking on their progress and offering encouragement, eager to see their ideas come to life. "Remember to stay focused on our goal, to educate and engage," she reminded them, her voice filled with optimism. As they exchanged ideas and collaborated, Claire could see their individual strengths shining through, combining in a way that demonstrated their growth as a team. Tomas approached her with an idea for their presentation, and Claire listened intently, valuing his insight as he suggested including interactive elements to draw in their audience. Realizing that every contribution was vital to their mission, Claire embraced a sense of unity in the group, knowing that these collaborative efforts would empower them to tackle any challenges that lay ahead. Chapter 13, Facing the Depths Again. As Claire prepared for the next dive, her heart raced with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The ocean loomed before her, a vast expanse filled with untold stories, and she felt the weight of anticipation pressing down. Gathering the team on the boat, she reviewed their objectives, emphasizing the importance of communication and adaptability. "Stay vigilant and trust one another," she instructed, her voice steady and commanding. With the earlier successes fresh in their minds, Claire urged them to focus on their goals, teaching them to embrace the adventure while navigating the uncertainties of the dive. Before they descended, she glanced at Thomas, who seemed unusually quiet. "Are you ready for this?" she asked, wanting to ensure he felt supported. "Yeah, I keep thinking about that last dive and what could happen," he admitted, revealing a flicker of doubt. Claire recognized his concern, but also felt a surge of determination to lead them through whatever challenges awaited them. As the team descended into the depths, Claire felt the familiar rush of adrenaline surge through her veins. Surrounded by the cool embrace of the ocean, she scanned their surroundings, eager to lead her team effectively through the murky waters. "Remember the signals we practiced," she reminded them as they adjusted their gear and focused on navigating the wreck. A flicker of uncertainty crossed Thomas's face as he glanced at the shadows lurking around the wreckage, his previous doubts creeping back. "Let's just focus on what we can handle," Claire encouraged, her voice steady and strong. "We've trained for this, and we'll make adjustments as we go." With each stroke through the water, Claire's resolve solidified. She was determined to adapt and overcome whatever challenges lay ahead, eager to uncover the secrets hidden beneath the surface. As they navigated closer to the wreck, Claire spotted a valuable artifact peeking out from beneath some rubble, its intricate design catching her eye. "Over here, I think we've found something significant," she called out, her excitement bubbling over, calling the team's attention. The crew gathered around, their earlier anxieties momentarily forgotten as they focused on retrieving the artifact carefully. However, just as they began to excavate, a loud creak echoed ominously through the wreck, a reminder that they were not alone in their explorations. Claire's heart raced, but she forced herself to stay calm, directing her team to proceed with caution. "Let's secure the area first. We need to stay aware of any shifting debris," she instructed, her quick thinking reflecting her growth as a leader. Tomas flashed her a concerned look, but followed her lead, indicating that he trusted her decision-making in the face of danger, bolstering her confidence as they navigated the unfolding situation. Claire took a deep breath, scanning the surroundings and assessing the situation as the ominous creaks echoed around them. She felt the eyes of her team on her, the weight of leadership pressing down as she contemplated their next steps. "Everyone, stay alert and keep your lines open," she instructed, her voice cutting through the tension, wanting to reinforce the importance of communication. With meticulous attention, she led the team as they carefully stabilized their gear while maintaining a keen awareness of any further disturbances. "Remember, there's no need to rush. We're here to discover and learn, and we can't afford any mistakes," she encouraged, showcasing her determination to prioritize both safety and exploration. Feeling the trust of her team build, Claire prepared to navigate the unknown, knowing that their collective resilience would guide them through whatever challenges lay ahead. With the team steadying themselves, Claire felt a surge of adrenaline as she prepared to tackle the challenges ahead. "All right, let's carefully excavate that artifact and see what we can learn from it," she directed, her eyes gleaming with excitement and purpose. As they began to dig cautiously, Tomas stayed close, his earlier nerves replaced by a burgeoning curiosity about the potential discoveries. "You think it'll tell us something new?" he asked, his voice filled with anticipation as they peeled away the debris. "I believe it could reveal connections we never expected," Claire replied, her confidence manifesting as she initiated the process. Yet, as they worked, she noticed a growing unease amongst the team, feeling the weight of the ocean bulk around them. Claire took a moment to remind herself that they had trained for this, a testament to their resilience and adaptability amid uncertain waters. As they carefully uncovered the artifact, a sense of awe spread through the team, momentarily eclipsing their earlier concerns. The ornate designs on the box were more breathtaking than Claire had imagined, sparkling in the underwater light, igniting excitement among her crew. "This could be a pivotal find," Claire exclaimed, her voice rising in enthusiasm as she highlighted the significance of their discovery. Tomas leaned in closer, his earlier doubts fading as he absorbed the beauty of the artifact, his passion reignited. "If we document this properly, it could shift how we view this entire site." Claire felt a warm rush of confidence, bolstered by Thomas's support. "Exactly. We'll make sure the community sees this too," she said, envisioning both the immediate and long-term impact of their work. As they continued to explore, she realized how far she and her team had come, their shared experiences intertwining into a narrative of growth, collaboration, and the thrill of teamwork. Chapter 14, Waves of Change. The following morning, Claire met Dr. Whitaker at the local Maritime Museum. Her excitement mingled with curiosity about the expert's guidance. As she entered the facility, the scent of aged wood and maritime artifacts enveloped her, reminding her of her commitment to uncovering history. Dr. Whitaker greeted her with a warm smile, his presence bringing a sense of assurance. "Ready to dive deeper into the sea of knowledge?" he asked, raising an eyebrow invitingly. "Absolutely. I'm eager to learn as much as possible to enhance our upcoming community workshop," Claire replied, her determination shining through. He motioned for her to follow him to a display of advanced sonar equipment, ready to share insights that would equip her for future dives. "Let's get started." This technology can make a real difference in your explorations. As they delved into the mechanics of the sonar, Claire felt a rush of inspiration, realizing how the tools at her disposal could elevate her understanding of underwater archaeology. Dr. Whitaker demonstrated how the sonar equipment worked, guiding Claire through each feature with patience. See this? It'll help you map out the wreck site and identify stable areas before you dive, he explained, pointing at the screen as it illuminated various depths. Claire leaned closer, eager to absorb every detail, her mind racing with possibilities. So we can avoid unstable sections and focus on areas with more artifacts? She asked, her excitement palpable. Exactly, he replied, his eyes twinkling with enthusiasm for the technology. But you must also be prepared for unexpected challenges. The ocean is unpredictable. Claire nodded, her resolve deepening as she felt the importance of his advice sink in. As they practiced operating the equipment together, she gained confidence, recognizing that every lesson from Dr. Whitaker could be invaluable for their mission ahead. As they continued to work together, Claire felt a genuine bond forming with Dr. Whitaker. Your enthusiasm is refreshing, Claire, he remarked as they explored the sonar's capabilities, his encouragement lifting her spirits. I've always been passionate about exploring history, Claire replied, her voice filled with determination as she demonstrated her newfound knowledge of the equipment. However, she noticed a fleeting moment of doubt in Dr. Whitaker's eyes as he observed her handling the sonar. Just remember, with great power comes great responsibility. The data can reveal a lot, but it's up to you to interpret it accurately, he cautioned, revealing his concern beneath the surface. Claire appreciated his honesty, recognizing that even mentors had their own fears about the uncertainties of exploration. I will, and I'm grateful for your guidance. I want to do this the right way, she assured him, feeling the weight of her aspirations, anchored by his wisdom. As they wrapped up their session, Claire felt equipped to tackle the next dive, her excitement tempered with the knowledge that responsibility and understanding were crucial in their mission. As their training session concluded, Claire felt a surge of gratitude for Dr. Whitaker's insights. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with me. It means a lot, she said sincerely, her appreciation evident in her expression. Dr. Whitaker smiled, but Claire could sense an underlying hesitation in his demeanor. Just remember, Claire, not everything you encounter will have a clear answer. She nodded, internalizing the lesson. I understand, and I'll be prepared to question what I find, she replied, reinforcing her commitment to approach discoveries with an open mind. Claire sensed that this exchange had deepened their mentor-mentee relationship, embedding a new layer of trust between them, enriched by their shared passion for uncovering history. As she reflected on his words, Claire realized her journey was not solely about artifacts, but also about evolving as a leader willing to embrace uncertainty. Feeling invigorated by their discussion, Claire gathered her belongings with a newfound sense of determination. Before I dive again, I want to ensure we've accounted for every detail from our previous expeditions, she declared to Dr. Whitaker, her focus shifting firmly toward preparation. He nodded, impressed by her proactive mindset. That's the spirit. Revisiting your findings will forge a clearer path for what lies ahead. As Claire left the museum, she pulled out her notes from the other dives, eager to revisit their findings and integrate the new knowledge she had gathered. She felt invigorated knowing that her growth was steering them toward meaningful discoveries, and her heart raced at the thought of diving back into the depths. Embracing the sense of responsibility that had blossomed within her, Claire was determined to honor her commitment to the mission and to her team, eager to face the challenges that awaited them. As Claire returned to the research facility, she felt a sense of purpose guiding her steps. She immediately laid out her notes and drafted a revised plan based on Dr. Whitaker's advice, infusing her approach with newfound clarity and direction. Tomas joined her, glancing at her organized layout. You really put a lot of thought into this, haven't you? He remarked, a hint of admiration in his voice. I'm trying to be thorough. Each dive is a chance to learn, Claire replied, appreciating his acknowledgement. Together, they discussed the implications of their previous discoveries, Claire eager to incorporate each team member's insights into their new strategy. Feeling the momentum build, she realized how her growth had not only shaped her perspective, but had begun to inspire those around her, reinforcing the camaraderie they had built through their shared experiences. Chapter 15, A Pivotal Decision. In the days leading up to the next dive, Claire felt a swell of excitement and determination as she reviewed the team's preparation. They had worked tirelessly to secure their artifacts and refine their strategy based on their previous experiences. Gathering the crew on the boat one last time, she shared the plan for the dive. Today, we focus on documenting every single artifact and ensuring we gather all necessary data, she stated, her voice resonating with confidence. James nodded eagerly, ready to contribute as he checked the sonar equipment, feeling the weight of their preparations finally coming together. Claire glanced around at her team, each member rooted in their assignments, an unspoken bond strengthening between them as they prepared for the challenges ahead. With the excitement pulsing through her, she felt ready to implement the knowledge they had all gained, knowing this dive would be critical for both their mission and their growth as a team. As they began their descent, Claire felt the thrill of the ocean enveloping her, the rush of water pulling her deeper into the unknown. She focused on implementing the sonar techniques Dr. Whitaker had taught her, scanning the area with purpose as she directed the team. "Keep an eye on the readings and communicate any changes," she called out, ensuring everyone was alert and engaged. The sonar screen lit up with data, revealing hidden outlines of the wreck that filled her heart with exhilaration. "Look at this," Tomas called, excitement leaping in his voice as he pointed at the display, tracing the outline of a potential artifact just beyond their reach. Claire's mind raced with possibilities, and she felt a surge of confidence as she devised a plan to carefully approach and document the discovery, aware that their success depended on their collective efforts. As they approached the site of the artifact, Claire felt her heart race with anticipation, the moment of discovery drawing nearer. "Let's move in closer, but stay vigilant," she instructed, her voice steady as they navigated the uncertain waters. Tomas and Allison followed her lead, their confidence buoyed by Claire's enthusiasm as they maneuvered carefully toward the promising outline detected earlier. Yet, just as they reached the area, a sudden shift in the currents sent a shiver of uncertainty through the team, reminding them of the risks they faced. "Claire, the sonar readings are fluctuating," Thomas warned, his voice edged with concern as he monitored the equipment closely. "All right, let's assess this. If we need to hold back for a moment, we will," Claire replied, her decision-making skills kicking in as she weighed their options, prioritizing safety while still keeping their objective in sight. Claire took a deep breath, assessing the situation as the currents shifted unpredictably around them. "Let's hold our position for now. Tomas, monitor the sonar. Give us constant updates on the readings," she instructed, her tone firm as she guided the team. The water swirled, and the team waited, tension building as they focused on the task at hand. "Do you think we should call it?" Allison asked hesitantly, her eyes scanning the depths anxiously. Claire shook her head, her determination shining through. "We've come too far to back down now. We'll adjust as needed." This moment reflected Claire's growth. Her ability to remain collected amidst uncertainty demonstrated newfound leadership skills that inspired trust within her team. As the sonar readings stabilized, Claire felt a surge of relief and renewed focus. "All right, everyone, let's move in cautiously," she directed, noticing the team's nerves beginning to settle as they trusted her leadership. With careful precision, they navigated closer to the artifact, excitement mounting as its details became clearer in the murky water. Tomas pointed at the object, a sense of awe in his voice. "This is going to change our understanding of the wreck." Claire smiled, bolstered by his enthusiasm, feeling the bond within the team strengthen as they embraced the significance of their discovery. "Let's document everything meticulously. We'll take our time with this one," she replied, knowing that their success in this moment hinged on their collective efforts and her ability to lead them confidently through any obstacles they might face. As the team worked to document the artifact meticulously, Claire felt a sense of pride in what they had accomplished together. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement, each member absorbed in their tasks, and Claire moved among them, checking their progress and offering guidance where needed. "Let's make sure to highlight the context of this find in our documentation," she encouraged, knowing that every detail mattered in preserving their discoveries. Tomas, now fully engaged, nodded eagerly. "I'll connect it to our records of maritime trade routes from the previous dives," he assured, his earlier doubts giving way to purpose. Claire felt the growing confidence within the team, a testament to their development as a cohesive unit that could tackle challenges together. With each careful note and photograph taken, Claire recognized that their collective efforts were not only uncovering history, but also deepening the ties that would make them resilient in future endeavors. Chapter 16, Navigating the Shadows. As the team prepared for their next dive, Claire felt a sense of normalcy settle around her, invigorated by the successes they had recently achieved. Just as they were finalizing their gear, a sudden alarm echoed through the facility, jolting everyone from their discussions. Claire's heart skipped a beat as she turned to the source of the noise, sensing that something was wrong. "What's happening?" she called out, her tone shifting from calm to alert. Tomas checked the monitors. "There's been a structural failure reported on the wreck site. We need to make adjustments to our plans," he said, concern lining his features. Claire felt dread wash over her, realizing that their plans were about to change dramatically. "We can't afford to take unnecessary risks, especially not now," she replied, her mind racing as she considered their options. With urgency now driving her, she quickly regrouped the team, ready to adapt their strategy and ensure everyone's safety while facing this unexpected obstacle. Claire quickly gathered her team, urgency etched on her face as she addressed them. "We need to develop a new plan, and fast," she said, her voice steady despite the nerves swirling inside her. The team listened intently, sensing the seriousness of the situation. "Tomas, what do we know about the structural failure?" she asked, hoping to gather vital information that could guide their next steps. Tomas glanced at the data on the monitor, brows furrowed in concentration. The sonar indicated instability in several areas. "We could risk further collapse if we proceed as planned," he warned, the tension rising with the implications of his words. Claire felt the weight of responsibility settle over her, her mind racing as she processed their options. "We need to prioritize safety. Let's secure our findings and assess the situation before diving again," she declared, recognizing the need for a precautionary approach. The gravity of the moment forced her to reflect on the gravity of the stakes, while emphasizing her determination to prioritize their safety above all else. With their new plan unfolding, Claire knew they had to act quickly to salvage what they could. "Let's check the artifacts for any potential damage," she urged, her heart racing as they gathered the items they had previously recovered. Tomas and Allison joined her, examining the pieces with a meticulous eye, anxious to ensure their history was preserved. "There's a lot of pressure here," Tomas remarked, glancing at Claire, who was inspecting a delicate fragment with heightened concern. Claire felt the weight of his words, recognizing the collective fear that had begun to simmer among the team. "I know this is a challenge, but we've prepared for setbacks. We can overcome this together," she reassured them, her voice firm. As they worked, Claire's determination shone through. She focused on the task at hand, her steadfast nature empowering her team to push through the uncertainty. Each action taken felt like a step toward growth, a testament to their resilience, reminding Claire that they could adapt even when their plans were tested by the unforeseen. As they continued to assess the artifacts, Claire noticed a tension brewing between Tomas and Allison, their differing opinions regarding the next steps seemingly at odds. "I still think we should consider postponing the dive until we're fully certain everything is secure," Tomas reiterated, concern lingering in his voice as he inspected a fragile piece. Allison crossed her arms, frustration evident. "But we can't keep pushing back opportunities. We've trained for this, and we can find a way to manage both safety and discovery." Claire stepped between them, sensing the growing conflict. "Both of you raise valid points," she replied, wanting to bring the discussion back to collaboration. "We must find a balance and make strategic choices." The air thickened with unspoken tension, but Claire felt her confidence rising as she focused on fostering unity. Let's take some time to review our previous dive reports and reassess our strategy. This is about moving forward together. Her approach calmed the situation, and as they shifted their focus back to problem solving, Claire recognized the strength of her leadership and how her willingness to navigate tensions brought them closer as a team. With the discussion redirected toward problem solving, Claire noticed Tomas still carrying a weight of doubt in his stance. Let's review the sonar data from our previous dives and see how we can strategize based on that, she suggested, eager to tap into their collective knowledge for the next steps. Tomas opened the data on the screen, his brows furrowing as he analyzed the patterns. If we focus our efforts on the areas with the most stable readings, we might be able to avoid the unstable zones altogether, he proposed, his tone shifting to one of cautious optimism. Exactly. That's a smart way to proceed, Claire affirmed, grateful for his insight as it injected renewed energy into the room. Everyone leaned in closer, studying the readings together as Claire guided their collaboration. As they gathered around the screen, she felt a sense of empowerment, realizing that the shared learning environment was what would make them successful, both in this dive and future endeavors. With the team rallying around the sonar data, Claire felt the tension gradually dissipate, replaced by a sense of unified purpose. Let's set our dive plan based on Thomas's insights, she announced, her voice steady as she outlined their next steps. As Tomas explained the sonar readings, Claire observed her team's engagement. They were not just passively listening, but actively contributing ideas, their confidence bolstered by the collaborative atmosphere. Once we identify our priority areas, we should limit our dives to smaller sections to ensure safety, Allison suggested, her eyes bright with enthusiasm. Claire nodded, appreciating the evolution of their dialogue. Great point, Allison. That will help us manage our resources effectively. As they worked, Claire realized that each adjustment they made was not just a tactical choice, but a step toward establishing a strong, resilient team ready for the challenges of the ocean ahead. Chapter 17, A Test of Trust. As Claire and her team prepared for the next dive, a heated discussion erupted among the members, reflecting differing opinions on their strategy. Are we really sure about the plan to explore that deeper section? It feels risky, especially after everything we've faced, Thomas voiced, anxiety creeping into his voice as he glanced at the dark waters below. Claire sensed the growing divide in the room, frustration bubbling beneath the surface as she felt the need to assert her leadership. I appreciate your concerns, Thomas, but we can't let fear dictate our choices. We've trained for this, and we need to trust our instincts, she replied, seeking to stabilize the situation. The room fell silent momentarily as her words hung in the air, while some team members seemed to side with Thomas, voicing doubts about their trajectory. Maybe we should reconsider our approach and focus only on the safer zones we identified, one crew member suggested, their tone reflecting uncertainty. Claire immediately recognized the need to address the conflict, understanding that this moment would shape their ability to work together moving forward. How about we assess the risks together? Let's weigh the potential challenges and make our adjustments as a group, she proposed, determined to unite them in purpose. Claire gathered her team around the map laid out on the table, determination etched on her face as she prepared to address their concerns. We need to look at the sonar readings and assess which areas are genuinely unstable, she suggested, wanting to provide clarity as she pointed to highlighted zones on the map. Tomas leaned closer, studying the details with furrowed brows. But even those areas can have hidden dangers. We have to be extra cautious. I agree that we should be careful, Claire responded, acknowledging his trepidation. But we can't let the fear of the unknown paralyze us. Exploration requires calculated risks. Sarah chimed in, hoping to ease the tension. We can use our communication signals to maintain safety, and if things get too risky, we can always regroup. Claire nodded, appreciating the support as ideas flowed among them, trying to reshape their focus on collaboration rather than conflict. Feeling her leadership tested, Claire resolved to guide them through the uncertainties, ready to navigate whatever challenges awaited them in the depths. Let's take a moment to breathe and refocus on our mission, Claire said, feeling the weight of the room's tension settle heavily on her shoulders. She scanned the faces of her team, noting the mix of concern and frustration etched on their features. We need to remember why we're here. It's not just for discovery. It's about creating a narrative that's meaningful, she urged, her voice steady and clear, seeking to rekindle their shared purpose. Tomas shifted slightly, still grappling with doubt. I just don't want our excitement to fetch us trouble. We've worked hard to get here, he replied, vulnerability seeping into his tone, revealing his inner conflict. Claire empathized with him, acknowledging the fears that underpinned their mission. We all feel that way at times, Tomas, but it's in our moments of courage that we grow. We can't shy away from challenges, she explained, holding his gaze firmly. The tension in the room began to dissipate as her words sparked a flicker of understanding among them, reminding Claire that their resilience was the foundation they needed to forge ahead. Let's outline our next steps, based on both our excitement and our caution, Claire suggested, feeling the growing unity among her team. With a renewed sense of purpose, she moved to the whiteboard and began jotting down their objectives, clearly mapping out what needed to be addressed moving forward. First, let's focus on the safest areas for exploration, she said, gesturing to the map. We can gather additional data there before diving into more complex territories. Thomas leaned in, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. That makes sense. We can build our confidence gradually. Claire nodded, feeling supported by his insight and willing to incorporate his ideas into the strategy. Allison added, and let's ensure we document every step we take. This information will be crucial not just for us, but for educating the community, reinforcing the importance of their shared goals as their objectives united them. Claire felt a swell of gratitude, knowing they were on the same page, collectively committed to adapting and moving forward with clarity and purpose. With their new plan in place, Claire felt a renewed sense of teamwork blossom among the crew. Let's do a quick team check to ensure everyone's clear on their roles, she suggested, glancing around at the eager faces of her teammates. Tomas grinned, his earlier doubts fading as he allowed himself to embrace the collaborative spirit. I'll keep an eye on the sonar and alert us to any changes, he affirmed, his voice brimming with confidence. Allison chimed in, and I'll manage the documentation, making sure we capture each finding as we go. This is going to be exciting. Claire felt a swell of pride as her teammates filled their roles, each excitedly discussing how they could effectively contribute to their shared objectives. The atmosphere transformed from uncertainty to one of positivity and determination, a cohesive unity that Claire recognized as a key strength of their team. Her laughter mingled with their chatter, and in that moment, Claire understood that embracing their diversity would empower them to navigate whatever challenges lay ahead. With the roles clearly defined and the plan set, Claire felt a surge of confidence ripple through the group. Let's check our gear one last time before we head out, she reminded them, her leadership instilling a focus as they prepared to face the dive ahead. Everyone moved efficiently, running through their equipment checks, the earlier tension giving way to a sense of purpose. Tomas, now fully engaged, nodded. I'll make sure the sonar is calibrated and ready to go. Great, and remember to communicate any changes as we dive, Claire added, ensuring they were all on the same page and ready to adapt as needed. As they wrapped up their final checks, Claire noticed that the collective optimism and newfound unity among the team felt stronger than ever. It was a testament to their growth and resilience, and she knew they would tackle any obstacles ahead as a solidified team, ready to embrace whatever awaited them beneath the waves. Chapter 18, Confronting the Challenge. As they prepared for the dive, Claire felt a fire ignite within her, strengthened by the support of her team and the knowledge they had gained. She stood at the bow of the boat, her gaze fixed on the shimmering water, a mixture of excitement and determination coursing through her veins. Today is about more than just exploration. It's about making a difference, she declared to her team, wanting to reaffirm their shared mission. Thomas and Allison exchanged nods, visibly inspired by Claire's commitment, their earlier doubts replaced by excitement. Let's make sure we document everything thoroughly, Tomas added, the sense of responsibility weighing on him as he prepared for the dive. Claire smiled, feeling the unity among her team as they all committed to their tasks with renewed vigor, ready to embrace whatever challenges the depths might throw at them. As Claire dove into the water, a rush of exhilaration enveloped her, the ocean's cool embrace reinvigorating her spirit. She adjusted her gear and focused on the mission ahead, the anticipation of discovery humming in her veins. Around her, the team followed suit, each confident in their roles as they maneuvered through the crystal-clear depths. "Stay together and remember our signals," Claire reminded them, ensuring communication remained at the forefront of their efforts. The vibrant marine life swirled around them, drawing Claire's attention to the beauty that lay beneath the surface, prompting her to ponder the stories hidden in the wreck they were about to explore. With determination guiding her, Claire felt an unshakable sense of purpose as they approached the site, ready to uncover the mysteries of the past. As Claire and the team reached the wreck, the sight before them took her breath away. The sun filtered through the water, illuminating the old ship's structure, inviting them into its hidden tales. "Look at the condition of the hull," Tomas said, pointing out intricate details that showcased the ship's storied past. His excitement was contagious as they all began to explore, each member drawn to different aspects of the wreck. Claire moved carefully around the site, her heart racing with the thrill of discovery, when she suddenly spotted a familiar insignia engraved on a piece of metal. "This could be significant," she said, her voice filled with awe as she recognized its historical value, deepening the importance of their mission and affirming her leadership role among the team. As the team carefully documented their findings, Claire felt a growing sense of responsibility settle upon her shoulders. "Let's make sure to capture everything we can about this site," she urged, highlighting the need for thorough documentation to honor the history they were uncovering. Thomas nodded as he recorded notes, but Claire could sense the urgency in his movements as he double-checked the artifact's details. "This could change how we understand our local maritime history," he said, excitement and pressure mingling in his voice. The weight of their discoveries began to sink in as the team exchanged glances, some feeling the significance of what they were unearthing, while others projected signs of concern over the implications. Claire reflected on their discussions and the dynamics that had formed. The earlier tensions had forged stronger bonds among them. "No matter what happens next, we're in this together," she reassured them, determined to maintain unity in the face of challenges. With each interaction, Claire felt her leadership solidify, understanding that guiding her team through this journey required not just knowledge but empathy and support. With the dive nearing its end, Claire gathered her team to discuss their next steps and how to handle the valuable artifacts they'd found. "Let's prioritize how to protect and preserve these pieces," she instructed, her leadership now evident in the way they turned to her for guidance. Allison chimed in, her voice filled with enthusiasm. "We should look into ways to educate the community about these discoveries. It could really spark interest." Claire nodded, impressed by Allison's initiative. "That's a great idea. We can organize a presentation to share our findings and promote local engagement." However, the mood was soon interrupted by Tomas's lingering doubts. "What if we draw too much attention? What if someone else wants to take these artifacts?" Claire felt the pressure in his words. She took a moment to reflect on their discussions, ready to address the uncertainty. "We'll implement safeguards to protect our findings. We're not just protecting artifacts. We're preserving our history." With determination surging through her, Claire reinforced the team's shared vision, seeing how their collaborative efforts empowered them to navigate the complexities of discovery. As they discussed how to share their findings with the community, Claire felt a sense of resolve cementing within her. "Let's gather everything we've learned and create a compelling narrative around our discoveries," she suggested, her excitement contagious as she envisioned how they could educate others. Tomas and Allison exchanged nods, their earlier worries giving way to enthusiasm as they considered the presentations, community workshops, and public engagement opportunities that lay ahead. Claire moved around the table, seeking input from each team member, encouraging collaboration and fostering a spirit of inclusivity. "What stories do you think will resonate most?" she asked, eager to draw on their diverse experiences and perspectives. The room buzzed with ideas, and Claire could feel the dynamics shifting, their shared vision evolving as they began to see the larger impact of their work. In that moment, Claire realized her ability to lead the team through this challenge had transformed their collective journey, igniting a passion to protect their community's history that would inspire them in all future endeavors. Chapter 19, Navigating the Unknown. As Claire and her team prepared to dive once more, an urgent energy filled the air, the stakes rising with every passing moment. They had gathered essential equipment and artifacts, but an unexpected interruption pulled them back from their excitement. A sudden alarm rang out from the sonar equipment, indicating shifting currents and an impending storm on the horizon. "Everyone, we need to secure the gear and assess the situation right now," Claire called, the urgency of her voice slicing through the tension. Tomas glanced at the equipment, his face tightening with worry. "Should we postpone the dive until the storm passes?" he suggested, fear edged into his tone. Claire quickly weighed their options, recognizing that this moment could shift the entire course of their mission. Claire's mind raced as she took in the chaos unfolding around her, the alarm echoing beneath the rising wind. "We can't let fear hold us back," she declared, though inside, uncertainty knotted within her. She knew that without taking some risks, they might miss crucial discoveries. "Let's assess the situation before making any decisions," she added, her voice steady as she turned to the sonar display, eyes scanning for important data that could guide them. Tomas moved closer, anxious but focused. "If we choose to dive, we have to be very cautious about our entry points." Claire nodded, appreciating his input while weighing the implications of pushing forward. "Agreed. We need a clear plan that prioritizes safety, but we shouldn't lose sight of our goals." Feeling the gravity of the decision, Claire called the team to gather around and discuss their options, determined to navigate the uncertainty together. As Claire gathered the team to discuss their options, the urgency of the approaching storm hung overhead like a dark cloud. "Let's break down what we know about the currents and conditions," she said, determined to lead them toward a solution. Tomas quickly pulled up the sonar data, drawing lines on the screen to highlight areas they could potentially explore safely. "Here are the stable zones, but we need to keep an eye on the deeper waters. They're unpredictable." Claire felt her heart race, aware that each decision would shape their experience. "We can dive into the safer areas first. That way, we won't lose our opportunity if the storm forces us to turn back." Allison chimed in, glancing nervously at the window where the wind whipped the trees. "What if we don't have enough time? That storm could hit us at any moment." Claire glanced around at her team, noting their expressions of concern, but she maintained her focus. "If we move quickly and communicate, we can make it work. We'll be cautious, but we also have to seize the moment." Her confidence seeped into the room, and Claire felt a unified determination building as they adjusted their plan, ready to face whatever the ocean had in store for them. As the discussions continued, Claire felt the tension in the room shifting toward focused determination. "Let's assign roles for this dive so we can move efficiently," she said, addressing her team. "Tomas, you'll coordinate the sonar. James, you'll handle the gear checks. Allison and I will monitor the conditions." Tomas nodded, visibly more engaged now. "Got it. I'll keep the sonar trained on the currents while you surface with the artifacts." Claire felt a surge of pride as she watched the team rally under her direction, the earlier doubts melting away with purpose being restored. "Everyone, remember to communicate if you notice any changes. We must stay vigilant," she reminded them, aware that their success depended on the strength of their teamwork. The intensity of their focus resonated between them, and Claire felt a sense of hope blooming as they prepared to dive, ready to tackle whatever challenges lay ahead. As they secured their equipment and double-checked everything, Claire couldn't shake the increased responsibility settling on her shoulders, recognizing that their shared commitment would guide them through. With their roles clearly defined, Claire felt a surge of confidence as they prepared to embark on the dive. Let's keep communication flowing as we go under, she urged, her voice steady and authoritative as they gathered at the boat's edge. Tomas checked the sonar equipment again, ensuring everything was functioning correctly. I'm ready. Just keep an eye on the conditions above, he replied, a newfound determination shining in his eyes. Claire glanced at the darkening sky, an unsettling reminder of the storm lurking overhead, but she felt a wave of resolve wash over her. We can handle this together. Trust in our training and each other, she said, wanting to strengthen their group dynamic. As they prepared to dive, she reminded herself of the risks they were taking and the responsibility she held, but also how her leadership had begun to transform their journey into something deeply meaningful. With a united front and adrenaline surging, they plunged into the water, ready to confront whatever challenges awaited them beneath the surface. As Claire and her team descended into the depths, a calmness washed over her, replaced by the exhilaration of exploration. The vibrant underwater world surrounded them, filled with colorful marine life darting in and out of sight, reminding her of the beauty that lay hidden beneath the surface. Keep close and watch your gauges, Claire instructed, her voice resonating through the comms as they navigated the intricate structures of the wreck. Tomas stayed at her side, observing the sonar readings, a smile breaking across his face as the instrument displayed promising data. This is incredible, Claire. We might uncover something even more significant than before. Her heart swelled at his enthusiasm, and Claire felt a renewed sense of purpose ignite within her. Let's work meticulously. Every find is an important piece of history. As they approached the artifact area, Claire sensed an unshakable connection to her team, knowing that their adaptability and determination would guide them through whatever mysteries the wreck had in store. Chapter 20, Turning Tides. Back in the research facility, Claire gathered her team around the large conference table, the atmosphere buzzing with excitement from their recent dive. She spread out their findings, the artifacts carefully cataloged and documented, eager to review their progress and plan for what was next. Let's take stock of everything we've accomplished, she said, her voice filled with enthusiasm, as she encouraged each member to share their insights and observations. As they went over the items, Claire felt a mix of pride and urgency. Their discoveries could unlock the stories of the past, and she was determined to harness that potential. Tomas chimed in, sharing technical notes from the sonar readings they had gathered. These readings could provide us with valuable context for our next dive, he suggested, the excitement in his voice reflecting the collaborative spirit of the team. Assessing their findings and experiences, Claire recognized that they needed to recalibrate their strategies to maximize their impact, feeling the weight of responsibility as they prepared for their upcoming endeavors. As Claire pored over the artifact documentation, she began to identify patterns that could reveal deeper historical connections. Look at this, she said, pointing to a set of markings on one of the pieces. These designs are similar to some found in coastal museums. It could suggest trade routes we hadn't considered before. Tomas leaned in closer, his curiosity piqued. That could change everything we know about our local history, he remarked, visibly excited by the implications. Claire felt a wave of determination sweep over her. This was a pivotal moment that could redefine their understanding of the site. However, she also recognized the need for careful planning moving forward. Let's adjust our next dive plan to focus on these connections, she suggested, eager to build on what they had discovered. With the team nodding in agreement, Claire felt their commitment renew, ready to harness their shared knowledge as they prepared for the next stage of their exploration. Claire gathered her team around the table, eager to discuss their recent breakthroughs and the path ahead. Let's take a moment to evaluate our next steps after reviewing the data, she began, pointing to the sonar readings and the artifacts they had collected. Tomas raised a hand, his enthusiasm tempered by lingering concerns. We need to ensure we're addressing any vulnerabilities in our upcoming dive, he stated, glancing at the others for support. Claire sensed the tension building again, knowing she needed to bridge the gap in their perspectives. Absolutely, she agreed. We'll prioritize safety while we explore these new areas. That means adjusting our strategies based on what we've learned. Allison nodded, adding her own thoughts on how to bolster their preparations. Maybe we should reach out to the local experts again for more insights. They might help us refine our approach even further. Claire felt a swell of pride at how the team was beginning to collaborate more effectively. That's a great suggestion, Allison. By working together, we can make the most of our dive, she encouraged, recognizing that their adaptability would be crucial in facing future challenges. As they continued discussing their next steps, Claire felt the weight of responsibility and inspiration mingling within her. Let's ensure we have everything documented meticulously, she reiterated, highlighting the importance of detail in their upcoming presentations to the community. The team nodded, each member recognizing the role they played in preserving the artifact's significance. Tomas, now fully engaged, began outlining a checklist for securing their equipment and findings, determined to leave no stone unturned. We need to make an inventory list that we can all access, he proposed, eager to ensure accountability. Claire appreciated his initiative, knowing that their efficiency relied on each member stepping forward and taking ownership. Great idea, Tomas. Let's also coordinate with the local historical society for potential support in our outreach efforts, she added, wanting to keep the conversation flowing in a constructive direction. As the team fell into discussion, Claire felt a surge of pride, recognizing how their dedication was shaping the project and fostering a sense of unity that would guide them through the upcoming challenges. As the team finalized their plans, the sense of camaraderie deepened, fueled by a shared mission. Claire moved around the room, checking in with each member as they prepared to take decisive actions in line with their new strategies. Let's ensure our documentation is thorough and accessible, she reminded them, her voice resonating with authority and encouragement. Tomas looked up from his notes, suddenly energized. I can set up a shared cloud folder for all our inventories and findings. That way, everyone stays on the same page. Claire smiled, recognizing how his confidence had grown since the beginning of their journey. That's an excellent suggestion, Tomas. Having everything centralized will help us work more effectively. Allison chimed in, suggesting a public engagement plan to involve the community further. We should consider holding a Q&A session after our presentations to address any questions they might have, she proposed, her enthusiasm infectious. Feeling the momentum in the room, Claire took a moment to appreciate their growth as a team, knowing that their strong collaboration would empower them to face whatever challenges awaited them in the future. With everyone now on board and energized, Claire surveyed the room, feeling a sense of pride swell within her. Let's take a moment to reflect on why this project is so important to us and the community, she suggested, hoping to deepen the emotional connection to their work. The team fell silent, each member absorbing her words as they considered the significance of their mission and the stories they were about to share. I think it's about preserving our history and creating a legacy, Tomas said thoughtfully, his voice steady as he spoke from the heart. Claire nodded, appreciating how their discussion had evolved. Exactly. We're not just exploring, we're ensuring future generations understand and appreciate what's come before them. The atmosphere in the room shifted, enveloped in a sense of purpose as they agreed to commit fully to their mission, bolstered by a newfound understanding of their role in weaving together the past and future. Chapter 21, Facing the Storm. As Claire stood by the edge of the dock, the winds began to swirl, echoing the internal conflict she felt brewing inside her. The storm clouds rolled in ominously, and the waves crashed against the pier, stirring doubt in the back of her mind. Just moments ago, she had felt an overwhelming excitement for the dive, but now that energy was overshadowed by the fear of nature's unpredictability. Tomas approached her, a sense of concern etched on his face. Are we sure this is the right time to continue? The conditions seem to be worsening. Claire paused, considering his words, feeling the pull to retreat and protect her team from potential danger. We need to weigh our options carefully, she said, her voice steady. But we can't waste the opportunity we've worked so hard for. Taking a deep breath, she steeled herself against the fear, determined to balance caution with their ambitions. Claire felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her as she actively worked through their options amidst the brewing storm. "Let's secure our equipment and prepare for the worst," she instructed, her voice firm despite the chaos surrounding them. The team sprang into action, moving swiftly to check their gear and gather supplies, the urgency of the moment sharpening their focus. Tomas looked up from his tasks, still uncertain. "What if it's too dangerous? Shouldn't we just wait for the storm to pass?" Claire locked eyes with him, sensing his fear, but also recognizing the determination behind his words. "I understand your concerns, but we have supplies ready. We can adapt based on conditions. We're explorers, and we must embrace the risks that come with our mission." James nodded, adding his agreement. "We've prepared for contingencies. We can make it work." With the encouragement from her team, Claire felt a surge of confidence. They were ready to face the storm, united in their commitment to uncover the mysteries that awaited beneath the waves. As the crew secured the last piece of equipment, Claire felt a sense of urgency pulse through the group. "Let's finalize our dive plan," she stated, her command sharpening their focus as they gathered around her for a briefing. The wind howled outside, but Claire was determined to maintain an atmosphere of confidence and strategy. "We'll stick to our identified safe zones, but be prepared to adapt if conditions change." Tomas kept glancing at the horizon, uncertainty flickering in his expression. "What if the weather deteriorates faster than we anticipated? I really think we should wait." Claire could sense the weight of his fears, mirroring the anxiety swirling in her own mind. "Waiting could mean missing out on crucial findings, Tomas. We can't let fear paralyze our progress." Seeing him weigh her words, she added, "Together, we'll navigate any challenges. Trust in our training and each other." Her resolve sparked a shift among the crew, and Claire felt a renewed sense of determination amongst them as they prepared to face whatever awaited them in the depths. As the team listened to Claire, the tension in the room began to shift toward focus and determination. "All right, everyone, let's approach this carefully," Claire urged, her voice steady as she outlined the plan for diving. "If we encounter difficulties, we'll adapt and regroup." Tomas nodded slowly, still apprehensive but willing to follow Claire's lead. "I'll keep an eye on the sonar readings and notify everyone of any changes," he said, his commitment showcasing a newfound bravery. The crew exchanged encouraging looks, bolstered by Claire's confidence in their collective skills, readying themselves for the dive. Allison leaned in, a thoughtful expression crossing her face. "We should have emergency signals ready in case the conditions worsen," she suggested, demonstrating her proactive approach. Claire felt a surge of pride as they responded to one another, each member stepping up to contribute to the strategies that would carry them forward. In that moment, Claire realized how far they had come as a team, their bond strengthened by shared challenges, ready to face whatever awaited them in the depths below. With the plan set, Claire noticed a shift in the atmosphere as the team's apprehensions began to ease. "Let's make sure we stick together as we dive. Communication is key to ensuring everyone's safety," she reminded them, the urgency of their mission resonating in her voice. Tomas adjusted the sonar equipment with newfound confidence, ready to relay any information he gathered during the dive. "I'll keep track of our location and any changes in the conditions," he assured, his earlier doubts now a thing of the past. Claire felt energized by the sight of her team rallying together, their earlier tensions subsiding as they prepared for the adventure that awaited. "We're not just facing the ocean's challenges, we're doing it as a team," Claire said, looking each member in the eye and reaffirming their shared commitment. As they took their positions, Claire felt the weight of responsibility transform into a thrill of excitement, ready to lead them into the depths with her unwavering resolve. As the team prepared to dive, Claire felt the adrenaline coursing through her, a mix of excitement and determination fueling her resolve. "Let's get ready," she called, signaling to her team that the moment had arrived, the ocean waiting eagerly below. With a final equipment check, Claire felt a sense of purpose wash over her. "Remember our signals and stay close together. We can handle whatever comes our way," she emphasized, fostering a sense of unity among the crew. Tomas adjusted his gear one last time, a newfound confidence evident in his expression. "I'm ready. Let's find out what lies beneath," he shouted, invigorating the team as they moved toward the edge of the boat. Claire couldn't help but smile at their enthusiasm, knowing that their commitment to each other demonstrated the strength they had cultivated as a team. With their hearts set on discovery, they plunged into the water, eager to uncover the ocean's secrets and solidify the bonds of the journey they were undertaking together. Chapter 22, Shifting Currents. As the team reconvened after the dive, Claire felt a heavy weight settle over her. The excitement from their discoveries was overshadowed by the reality of the lost artifact, a significant piece that had slipped through their fingers during the chaotic storm. Claire's heart sank as she heard the murmurs of concern and disappointment from her teammates, each voice reflecting their anxiety about the implications of what had happened. "We need to regroup and figure out what went wrong," she said, her tone firm as she sought to redirect their focus. Tomas crossed his arms, his frustration evident. "We can't let this happen again. What if we've jeopardized our entire mission?" Claire felt the heat of his words, but she couldn't afford to let doubt creep in. "I understand your concerns, and this loss is significant, but we need to focus on how we can move forward from here," she replied, willing herself to remain composed amidst the rising tension. Claire stepped away from her team for a moment, her mind racing as she grappled with their loss. In the quietness of the facility, she ran her fingers over the remaining artifacts they had recovered, feeling the weight of what could have been. "Okay, I can salvage this," she told herself, a spark of determination igniting within her as she formulated a plan. Returning to her team, Claire raised her chin, meeting their worried gazes. "We need to regroup and analyze everything we know about the dive and its context," she said, her voice assertive. Tomas glanced up, his face showing a mix of concern and attentiveness. "You really think we can still recover from this?" "Yes," Claire responded, feeling her leadership momentum returning. "We will find a way to communicate our findings effectively and address our community's concerns moving forward." With the renewed focus, she felt the team's energy shift, ready to tackle the challenge of salvaging both their mission and their collective morale. Claire gathered her team around the table, the air heavy with tension as they prepared to analyze what had gone wrong. "Let's review everything we documented and compare our findings," she said, her voice steady but laced with urgency. Tomas opened the sonar data, his fingers gliding over the screen as he pointed out discrepancies. "See? We underestimated the current strength when we dove," he explained, frustration creeping into his tone. Allison chimed in. "We need to be more cautious next time. Maybe we should create a checklist for next dives to ensure we don't overlook anything." Claire nodded, appreciating Allison's proactive approach. "That's a great idea. We'll implement a more rigorous safety protocol based on these insights," she vowed, determined to turn their setbacks into learning opportunities. As they continued discussing the potential adjustments, Claire sensed a shift in the group. Their hesitation was slowly replaced by renewed focus, showing their resilience in the face of adversity. By fostering a collaborative environment, Claire felt the team begin to bond over their shared responsibility, recognizing that overcoming this challenge together would ultimately strengthen their mission. As the conversation deepened, Claire utilized the dynamic energy in the room to encourage collaboration and teamwork. "Let's lay out a clear set of priorities for the next steps," she said, hoping to unify their efforts and build on the lessons learned. Tomas looked around at the rest of the team, his confidence bolstered. "If we each take ownership of specific areas, we can ensure nothing slips through the cracks," he proposed, feeling the support of his colleagues. "Exactly," Claire agreed, her voice resonating with conviction. "We will each contribute to documenting and securing our findings, ensuring we're all on the same page moving forward." Allison interjected, "And we should also meet with community leaders to address any concerns and be transparent about our work. It'll help build trust." Claire felt a surge of pride at how everyone was stepping up. Their shared commitment was palpable. And the group dynamics began to strengthen as they built on one another's ideas. As they organized their approach, Claire recognized the becoming nature of their collaborative spirit, understanding that this experience would only enrich their ongoing mission. As the team finalized their plans and prioritized their next steps, Claire felt a wave of determination wash over her. "Let's set a timeline for our next dive," she suggested, wanting to establish a clear direction for everyone. Tomas quickly jumped in with enthusiasm. "I can monitor the equipment along the way to ensure everything's safe for the dive, especially in those zones we identified." Claire smiled, appreciating how his confidence had grown alongside their mission. "Perfect. And I'll oversee the community outreach to ensure transparency with local leaders." Everyone nodded, the energy in the room charged with their collective commitment to making the most of their efforts moving forward. Allison added, "We should also keep the community informed of our findings and the steps we're taking to protect them." Feeling the camaraderie strengthen, Claire realized they were not only securing their artifacts, but also weaving a strong tapestry of trust within the community, ready to face the next phase of their journey together. With their plans taking shape, Claire felt a renewed sense of purpose as she looked around at her team. As they prepared to leave the facility, she gathered them for a final check-in. "Let's keep communication open after today, especially as we engage with the community," she urged, wanting to solidify their commitment to transparency. Tomas nodded vigorously, his earlier concerns now replaced with determination. "I'll be sure to keep the team updated on any local developments or changes," he promised, clearly ready to take an active role. Allison chimed in, "And I'll track our progress on the artifacts so we can all stay informed," demonstrating her dedication to their shared mission. Claire felt the atmosphere shift positively, the bond between them stronger than ever as they shared their goals. She realized how each member had grown, their individual strengths now complementing one another. As they stepped outside into the bright sun, she felt a wave of anticipation, knowing that they were well prepared to face the challenges ahead, unified in purpose and ready to make a lasting impact. Chapter 23, Building Alliances. As Claire arrived at the Historical Society, the familiar building loomed ahead, its presence a reminder of the wealth of knowledge and resources it contained. She felt a sense of purpose as she stepped inside, greeted by the warm lighting and the smell of old books that immediately put her at ease. Her mind raced with ideas about how they could collaborate to enhance the community's understanding of their maritime heritage. Claire approached the front desk where an archivist, Miss Hawthorne, was busy organizing documents. "Good morning. I'm here to discuss ways our teams might work together," Claire began, her excitement bubbling over. Miss Hawthorne looked up, tilting her head thoughtfully. "What do you have in mind? We've been waiting for a proposal from your team." Claire felt a rush of anticipation, eager to share her vision for cooperation, knowing that each ally could help propel their mission forward. "I believe that collaborating on the upcoming community event would engage locals in our mission to preserve maritime history," Claire explained, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Miss Hawthorne considered her words, a thoughtful expression crossing her face. "That's an interesting proposal. We can provide resources and historical context to support your findings, but I need to ensure our objectives align." Claire nodded, feeling the weight of the discussion. "Absolutely. Our goal is to educate and foster a connection between the community and their heritage. We'd love to incorporate any historical insights you have into our workshop." As they talked, Claire noticed the archivist's passion for history mirrored her own, creating a shared understanding of their purpose. "We also want our efforts to encourage local involvement in preservation," Claire added, hoping to emphasize the potential for a broader impact. Miss Hawthorne smiled slightly, her demeanor warming. "If we could showcase some of your artifacts alongside our exhibits, it might attract more attention to both our initiatives." Claire felt a rush of satisfaction as Miss Hawthorne expressed interest in her proposal, sensing a turning point in their conversation. "That would be fantastic," Claire replied, her excitement palpable as she visualized the event. "We can create interactive exhibits that bring the past to life for everyone." Miss Hawthorne nodded, her mind clearly working through the logistics. "But I need to know how you plan to handle the funding and resources. Many locals are hesitant to support initiatives without seeing tangible benefits." Taking a moment to consider, Claire answered, "We're currently looking at partnerships for funding and organizing local sponsorships. We're fully committed to making this a community-centered project." The archivist's eyes narrowed slightly, weighing Claire's commitment to their joint efforts. "That's important to convey to the community if you want their support," she said, reflecting a hint of caution. "Absolutely, transparency is key," Claire responded, appreciating the meaningful direction of their discussion as they began to explore the nuances of collaboration and the hurdles they would need to overcome. "Let's brainstorm how we can ensure the community feels involved and valued in this initiative," Claire suggested, recognizing the importance of building trust between their teams and the locals. Miss Hawthorne leaned forward, intrigued. "Engagement is key. Perhaps we could hold a community forum alongside the event to gather feedback and suggestions directly from the locals." "That's a great idea," Claire replied, her thoughts racing with the possibilities. "We can set up workshops after the main presentations to encourage hands-on participation and discussion." Excited about the direction the conversation was taking, Claire envisioned the potential for shared knowledge and experience to strengthen community bonds. "I can help facilitate those discussions and gather input from attendees," Ms. Hawthorne offered, her demeanor shifting toward collaboration. Feeling the weight of their shared ambition, Claire recognized this partnership could redefine their objectives and reshape community engagement, setting the stage for future endeavors. As the conversation unfolded, Claire felt a surge of optimism about the potential impact of their collaboration. "I think we're on the right track," she said, her voice infused with excitement. "Combining our resources could really enrich the community experience." Ms. Hawthorne nodded, enthusiasm blossoming in her expression. "And if we can get local schools involved, it'll create a long-term connection to maritime history." Claire's mind buzzed with possibilities, imagining students learning about their heritage and engaging in preservation efforts. "We could even set up competitions or projects that inspire creativity," she suggested, visualizing how the community could unite in support of their history. Just then, Tomas entered the room, catching the tail end of their discussion. "Did I hear something about involving schools?" he asked, his curiosity igniting. Claire smiled, sensing a shift in energy as Tomas's enthusiasm bolstered their plans. "We're discussing how best to engage the community, and your input could be invaluable." "I think we should discuss how we can reach out to local schools to get them involved," Tomas suggested, his eyes bright with possibilities. Claire turned to him, encouraged by his enthusiasm. "Absolutely. Engaging the younger generation is crucial. We want them to understand and appreciate our findings." Sarah, who had been listening attentively, chimed in. "Maybe we could create lesson plans related to maritime history that align with their curriculum." As they brainstormed, Claire felt a sense of purpose settle in the room, as if they were all part of a greater mission to protect their heritage. Ms. Hawthorne nodded enthusiastically. "We can create a network of collaboration that reaches beyond just this event. It could set a precedent for future partnerships." Claire couldn't help but smile at how their ideas were intertwining, each thought building off the last, a clear reflection of their growth as a team, ready to inspire meaningful change in their community. Chapter 24, The New Path. The day of the community event arrived, filled with anticipation and excitement that reverberated through Claire and her team. Setting up early in the morning, Claire felt the weight of responsibility press against her chest as she adjusted the positioning of artifacts on display. Nearby, Tomas was coordinating the setup of interactive elements, ensuring everything was ready for the arrival of their guests. "Are we all set for the presentations?" he asked, glancing up from his task with a hint of nervousness. Claire took a deep breath, remembering the numerous discussions and planning sessions they had undertaken. "We are ready. Trust in everything we've prepared," she reassured him, feeling her own nerves settle as she spoke. The crew moved efficiently, but Claire could sense an undercurrent of tension as everyone anticipated how the community would receive their efforts. As the first community members began to arrive, Claire felt a flutter of nerves twisting in her stomach. She watched as families entered the facility, their eyes widening with curiosity at the displays set up around the room. "Here we go," she whispered to herself, pushing aside her anxiety to focus on the task at hand. "Let's make sure we're all ready to engage with them," she called out to her team, noticing Tomas making last-minute adjustments to the presentation area. Seeing his focused determination inspired Claire to steady herself, assuring the team that this moment was about sharing their passion with the community. As the crowd thickened, she caught snippets of excitement in the conversations, the buzz hinting that their efforts were about to pay off. As the event began, Claire welcomed the community members, her heart racing with a blend of excitement and nervousness. "Thank you all for coming today," she started, scanning the faces before her, hoping to connect with each individual. Tomas stood nearby, ready to manage the presentation equipment, his eyes focused on the screen, ensuring the visuals played in sync with Claire's words. "We're here to share our journey and the incredible findings we've made about our maritime history," she continued, her enthusiasm momentarily quelling her nerves. The audience hung on her every word, and Claire felt a swelling of pride as she presented the artifacts, eager for feedback and engagement. They had successfully transformed their shared experiences into a narrative that resonated with the community, igniting interest and curiosity in their mission. Midway through the presentation, Claire paused to gauge the audience's reactions, noting the curious glances and whispered conversations swirling around the room. She could see the spark of intrigue lighting up the faces in the crowd, which bolstered her confidence. "Let's take a moment to discuss what you all think about these artifacts," Claire encouraged, inviting the community to share their thoughts, eager to foster engagement. A hand shot up, and an elder in the audience spoke up. "How can we help protect these pieces of history? They're part of our legacy." Claire felt her heart swell with gratitude as she realized their message was resonating. "That's precisely what we hope to achieve, building a community effort to preserve our maritime heritage," she replied, delighting in the enthusiasm. Tomas smiled, adjusting the display as he prepared to showcase how the artifacts could contribute to local history. Meanwhile, Claire felt the momentum grow, knowing they were not just sharing their discoveries, but also inspiring a collective commitment to their cultural legacy. As the presentation continued, Claire felt a wave of satisfaction wash over her, fueled by the growing excitement in the room. "By working together, we can create educational opportunities that engage our youth and inspire a love for our history," she said, her voice ringing with conviction. Claire watched as hands went up around the room, each question and idea sparking lively discussions that connected the community to the artifacts they had found. Allison joined in, suggesting initiatives for schools to explore local history, her enthusiasm infectious as she reinforced Claire's call to action. "We could host competitions for students to present their own findings." A community member vocally expressed their support. "I'd love to see kids involved. It'll bring more awareness to our heritage." In that moment, Claire realized their mission had gained traction, weaving together their ambitions with those of the community. As hope and purpose illuminated the room around them. As the presentation drew to a close, Claire felt a sense of accomplishment resonate within her. The community had engaged fully, buzzing with excitement and ideas about how to preserve their maritime heritage. "Thank you all for being part of this journey," she said, looking around at the supportive faces in front of her. "This is just the beginning. Together, we can make a long-lasting impact." The crowd erupted into applause, and Claire felt a warmth spread through her, knowing that their efforts were truly resonating. Tomas and Allison exchanged proud smiles, the connection among the team now solid and unwavering. "Let's keep this momentum going," Claire encouraged, her heart swelling with pride at how they had transformed their project into a community endeavor. Chapter 25, Preparing for Change. As the community event wrapped up, Claire felt a sense of exhilaration mingling with the exhaustion of the day's activities. Her team began to gather their materials, laughter and chatter filling the air as they reminisced about the successes of the workshop. "Can you believe how engaged everyone was?" Tomas exclaimed, a broad smile on his face as he packed away the artifacts. Claire nodded, her heart swelling with pride at their efforts and the connections they had fostered. We really managed to spark their interest in our maritime heritage, she replied, wanting to emphasize the significance of their collective work. Allison chimed in, and the kids really loved the hands-on activities. We should do more of those in the future. Claire could already feel the gears in her mind turning, envisioning how they could further involve the community. Determined to build on their success, she felt a renewed commitment to embrace future opportunities and challenges. As the last attendees filtered out of the facility, Claire felt both a sense of relief and a tinge of urgency. Let's take a moment to evaluate everything we accomplished today, she suggested to her team, wanting to ensure their success was fully acknowledged. The group gathered around the central table, artifacts neatly arranged, and Claire initiated a discussion about their impressions and experiences. Feedback was mostly positive, but we need to consider suggestions for improvement for future events, Tomas remarked, his voice serious as he reflected on the discussions they had with the community. Claire nodded, recognizing the importance of continuous growth. Let's list what worked well and what we can dynamically adjust for our next gathering, she encouraged, eager to create a constructive path forward. Allison grinned, her enthusiasm shining through. I can compile the feedback and help us sort through it, she offered, ready to contribute to their ongoing improvement. Together, they began mapping out strategies to enhance future workshops, feeling a sense of unity in their shared ambition to foster a thriving connection with their community. As they dove into the discussion about their findings, Claire felt a renewed sense of purpose fill the room. Let's break down the feedback we received and identify specific areas where we can improve, she proposed, pushing aside her exhaustion to keep the momentum going. Tomas flipped through his notes, highlighting key points. A few people mentioned wanting more interactive discussions. We should incorporate those, Allison added, and we could follow up with an online forum to keep the conversation flowing after the event. Claire's mind buzzed with ideas as they mapped out plans, the energy in the room infectious as each member contributed their thoughts and suggestions. Feeling the collaboration strengthen their resolve, Claire recalled how far they had come as a team. Let's ensure we take action on these ideas and keep the community engaged, she urged, aware that their success hinged on maintaining that connection. As they continued to strategize, Claire felt a firm sense of unity, knowing that their shared ambition would lead them toward even greater discoveries. As they continued their brainstorming, Claire noticed a shift in the group dynamic. The earlier nervousness had transformed into a vibrant dialogue filled with enthusiasm. Perhaps we can also introduce a mentorship program, Tomas suggested, his face brightening as he envisioned how experienced community members could guide younger ones. That could really foster relationships and provide an avenue for knowledge sharing, Claire replied, feeling a sense of pride in how engaged her team had become. Allison leaned in, her expression excited. We can create a series of workshops that vary in topics so people can find what resonates with them. Claire loved the way the ideas flowed, each contribution marking a step closer to solidifying their impact on the community. Let's ensure we gather all our thoughts and put together a proposal, she encouraged, recognizing the importance of capturing their collective vision. In this moment, Clara understood that their collaboration was more than just a project. It was a chance to build something lasting that would involve the community and enrich their maritime heritage. With their ideas flowing, Claire took a step back to ensure everyone felt included in the next phase of their project. Let's assign specific tasks based on what we've discussed today, she proposed, wanting to create accountability and encourage ownership among her team. Tomas immediately volunteered to handle outreach for the mentorship program, a sense of purpose radiating from him. I'll contact local schools and see if we can set something up. Claire felt a rush of gratitude for his enthusiasm, knowing that each team member's commitment would be integral to their success. Perfect. And Allison, could you start drafting materials for the workshops? Allison nodded, excitement sparking in her eyes. Absolutely. I can begin outlining topics and activities that will engage different age groups. Claire moved among her team, confirming each role, feeling the strong sense of unity solidifying as they prepared to take their plans into action. As they set their tasks, Claire couldn't help but feel that their combined efforts would leave a lasting impact on the community, forging connections that could change lives. With their tasks assigned and enthusiasm buzzing, Claire felt a sense of anticipation swell within her as they prepared to move forward. "Let's meet again tomorrow to review our progress before reaching out to the community," she suggested, wanting to keep the momentum going and ensure everyone was on track. "Agreed," Tomas exclaimed, a new energy lighting up his face as he prepared to dive into the necessary outreach. Allison perked up, and "let's bring back feedback from the community to refine our workshops based on what they find most relevant." Claire nodded, invigorated by their contributions, knowing that these plans would show the community how invested they were in preserving their shared history. As they began to wrap up for the day, she felt a strong sense of accomplishment. This was not just a project, but a movement toward community engagement. Claire took a moment to appreciate the growth that had unfolded among her team, knowing that together they were creating a legacy that would resonate far beyond their immediate efforts. Chapter 26, the test begins. As the days progressed, the team found themselves faced with an unexpected challenge that threatened the very foundation of their plans. While preparing for another dive, Claire noticed Tomas pacing, his brow furrowed in deep thought. "What's going on?" she asked, sensing the tension radiating from him. "There was a rumor circulating about the artifacts we uncovered," he replied, anxiety creeping into his voice. "Some locals think they should be returned to the ocean." Claire felt a pulse of alarm at his words, realizing the implications of such a perspective could undermine their hard work and outreach efforts. "We need to address this right away," she said, her voice steady as she formulated a plan. Gathering the team, Claire felt the urgency of the situation. They had to act quickly to quell the rising doubts and reinforce their mission. "Let's prepare a community meeting to discuss these concerns openly," she suggested, determined to confront the issue head-on. With her team rallying behind her, Claire felt a resolute sense of purpose begin to form, ready to navigate the complexities of this new challenge together. As Claire gathered her team to discuss the rumors, she felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her. "We have to acknowledge the community's feelings about the artifacts," she began, her tone firm yet empathetic as she faced her crew. Tomas shifted uncomfortably, clearly worried about how the potential conflict could shape their mission. "What if they really do want to return them? It could waste our efforts." "I don't think we should take it lightly," Allison added, her expression earnest. "Engaging with their concerns is essential if we want to maintain trust." Claire nodded, appreciating their insights, and knew the importance of addressing the situation directly. "We have to prepare for our community meeting and show them the significance of these artifacts, not just to us, but to our shared heritage." The conversation flowed naturally, ideas bouncing around the room as they strategized on how to effectively communicate their findings and the importance of preserving history. Feeling the collective commitment of her team, Claire recognized that this moment could redefine their relationships with the community, forging deeper connections as they sought to navigate the challenges ahead. As the preparations for the community meeting advanced, the atmosphere was charged with urgency and determination. Claire organized the gathering, eager to ensure that everyone felt included in the process. "Let's divide up the topics we'll discuss so we can cover all bases," she suggested, wanting to create a collaborative environment. Tomas raised his hand, proposing that they address the cultural significance of the artifacts first. "We need to illustrate how these pieces tie into the community's history," he emphasized, showcasing the depth of understanding they had cultivated together. Allison nodded in agreement, eager to add her voice. "And we should also address safety and preservation concerns to reassure the community about our intentions." As the team exchanged ideas, Claire felt the bond strengthen among them, recognizing how their experiences had shaped their collective identity. Each member took ownership of their parts, and Claire felt a sense of pride swell within her as they prepared to engage with the community, ready to navigate the challenges of the meeting ahead together. With plans finalized, She knew they had the strength and support needed to face the discussions that awaited them, confident in their shared mission. As the day of the community meeting arrived, Claire felt a mix of excitement and apprehension settle in her stomach. The venue buzzed with the chatter of attendees from the community, and she sensed the weight of their expectations hovering in the air. "All right, everyone, remember our roles," she reminded her team, her voice resonating with determination. "We need to present a united front and be prepared for tough questions." Tomas positioned himself by the display, making last-minute adjustments to ensure everything was set for their presentation. Allison was busy distributing pamphlets, her focus sharp as she engaged with early attendees, aiming to connect with people and spark interest in their findings. Claire took a deep breath, trying to harness her nerves, knowing that every moment mattered as they stepped into this pivotal opportunity and embraced the challenge of engaging with their community. As the meeting commenced, Claire stood at the front, ready to address the gathered crowd with a mix of nerves and anticipation. "Thank you all for being here today," she began, her voice steady as she scanned the audience, eager to make a connection. The crowd murmured in response, a range of expressions reflecting curiosity and skepticism, and Claire felt the weight of their attention on her. "To begin, we want to share the significance of the artifacts we've uncovered and what they mean for our community," she continued, noticing a few heads nodding in agreement among the audience. Tomas supported her with factual details from the dives, illustrating the historical context of their discoveries, while Claire watched the audience's reactions shift from doubt to intrigue. With each point they made, Claire felt a stronger bond forming between her team and the community, a vital connection that would pave the way for future engagement and collaboration. As Claire wrapped up the presentation, she could sense the shift in the room. The audience, once skeptical, now seemed engaged, leaning forward and whispering amongst themselves, energized by the insights shared. "Let's open the floor for questions," she announced, inviting dialogue and reinforcing the importance of community involvement. A hand shot up from the back, and an older gentleman spoke. "How do we ensure these artifacts stay protected? What is your plan moving forward?" Claire welcomed the question, recognizing it as an opportunity to address concerns directly. "We are committed to working with local authorities and preservation groups to establish guidelines that keep our history safe," she replied earnestly, emphasizing their dedication. The atmosphere felt electric, conversations sparking around her as people connected with the mission. She felt a surge of confidence, knowing they were not just sharing discoveries, but igniting a passion for preserving the past that resonated deeply within their community. Chapter 27, The Plan Takes Shape. As the sun rose over the edge of the horizon, Claire gathered her team for a crucial meeting, excitement mingling with anticipation in the crisp morning air. "Today is about putting our plan into action," she said, her voice filled with enthusiasm as she reviewed the details of their upcoming dive. The team leaned in, ready to absorb every word, the atmosphere charged with determination as they prepared to implement their strategies. "Let's ensure our roles are clear so we can work efficiently," Claire continued, assigning specific tasks to each member based on their strengths. Tomas took charge of the sonar equipment again, eager to prove his growth since their earlier challenges. "I'll monitor the readings closely and keep everyone updated on conditions." Claire felt the urgency in the room, the palpable energy urging them all forward as they prepared for the adventure that awaited beneath the waves. As the briefing progressed, Claire could feel the team's excitement building, their energy infectious as they shared ideas and strategies. "Let's ensure our plan is flexible," she emphasized, aware that the ocean could throw unexpected challenges their way. Allison chimed in, "What if we create backup plans for each scenario? If anything unexpected happens, we'll be prepared." Claire nodded, impressed by her proactive thinking. "That's a solid approach. Each dive is a new adventure. We have to be ready to adapt." Tomas added, "We could develop a system for quick communication if things start to go downhill during the dive." Claire felt a wave of pride wash over her. They were not just following a plan, but actively engaging in the process, learning and growing together. With the plan set and roles assigned, A conducive atmosphere enveloped them, reinforcing Claire's belief that their adaptability would be the key to navigating any obstacles. As Claire wrapped up the meeting, she could feel a palpable sense of purpose radiating from her team, their shared commitment to the mission evident. "Let's move forward and start gathering all the equipment we need for the dive," she instructed, her candor encouraging everyone to take initiative. Tomas quickly gathered the sonar gear, ensuring it was calibrated correctly, while Allison checked their supply lists twice, making sure nothing essential was overlooked. "Everything looks good here," she called out, her smile infectious as she passed by, carrying arms filled with equipment. Claire took a moment to appreciate how efficiently they were working together, recognizing that each individual had stepped into their role with confidence. While the energy buzzed in the air, the reality of the ocean's unpredictability simmered beneath the surface. Claire knew they needed to work as a singular unit to overcome any challenges they might face. With the team rallying around her leadership, Claire felt prepared to dive into the unknown, ready to embrace the discoveries awaiting them. As they prepared for the dive, Claire went over the plan one last time, wanting to ensure everyone felt ready and confident. "Once we're in the water, remember to stick together and communicate constantly," she reminded them, her tone firm yet encouraging. Tomas adjusted the sonar equipment, alert and focused as he affirmed, "I'll keep an eye on the readings and alert you all if anything changes." Claire appreciated his readiness to lead that aspect of their mission. It showcased the trust that had built within the team. "Let's ensure we adapt as we go. If things feel off, we regroup," she continued, sensing a wave of determination radiating from her crew as they shared the same commitment to safety and exploration. Feeling the camaraderie strengthen, Claire took a deep breath, ready to embrace the adventure that awaited them, knowing that together they could navigate whatever the ocean threw their way. As the team finalized their equipment checks, the anticipation was palpable, each member eager for the dive ahead. "Let's make sure everyone's comfortable with their gear," Claire called out, her voice steady as she moved among them, checking straps and measuring tanks. Allison laughed lightly, adjusting her goggles. "I'm just ready to see what treasures await us this time." The crew chuckled, the lightheartedness easing the tension that had lingered earlier in the day. "Remember, stay focused on our objectives while enjoying the process," Claire reminded, feeling a sense of pride in their newfound energy and enthusiasm. Tomas connected the last of the sonar equipment, his confidence evident as he grinned at Claire. "I've got a good feeling about today." With their spirits high and preparations complete, Claire felt a wave of gratitude for the bonds they had formed. Each challenge faced together had brought them closer, reinforcing their collective strength as they prepared to plunge into the depths. With their preparations complete, Claire gathered her team in a huddle, the excitement in the air palpable as they stood on the edge of their next adventure. "Remember to communicate clearly down there and stick together," she reiterated, her voice strong as she laid the ground rules once more. Tomas exchanged determined glances with the others, his earlier apprehensions fading into confidence. "We've got this, just like we practiced," he said, the camaraderie lifting everyone's spirits. Allison added, "And let's make note of any interesting finds immediately. We can't afford to miss any details." Claire smiled at her team, feeling pride swell within her. "Exactly. Let's make this dive not just about discovery, but about teamwork and exploration." As they prepared to enter the water, Claire felt a sense of empowerment coursing through her, the memories of their journey solidifying into a collective foundation for their ongoing adventure. Chapter 28, Embracing the Depths. As Claire and her team descended into the depths, the anticipation hung thick in the water around them. Each stroke brought them closer to the wreck, a mix of excitement and curiosity igniting their spirits as they prepared to execute their plan. "Stay close and keep an eye on the sonar readings," she instructed, her voice calm yet focused through the comms. Tomas adjusted the sonar equipment more firmly, checking their data sources as he monitored their surroundings. "I've got you covered," he reassured, his confidence a steady anchor for the team. Claire felt the thrill well up inside her as they approached the massive structure of the wreck. The mysteries of the past awaited them, and she was determined to make this dive count. With each glance exchanged among the crew, Claire could sense the bond they had forged through shared experiences, ready to face any challenges that might arise beneath the waves. As they neared the wreck, Claire's heart raced with anticipation. The underwater silhouette loomed larger, and she signaled for the team to prepare for exploration. "Check your equipment one last time," she instructed, her voice steady through the comms, instilling a sense of focus among them. Tomas reviewed their gear once more, ensuring everything was functioning properly. "We're good to go. Just stay alert down there," he affirmed, concern mixing with eagerness in his tone. Claire felt her excitement surge as they descended further. This was what they had been working toward. Once they reached the wreck, visibility opened up, revealing the details of the ship's structure, a memory of the past that begged for discovery. "Keep together and watch your gauges," Claire reminded, reinforcing their commitment to safety, ready to guide them through the depths and uncover the secrets waiting to be revealed. As they swam closer to the wreck, Claire's gaze fell upon an intricate figurehead protruding from the barnacle-encrusted hull. "Over here," she signaled, gesturing to the ornate carving that seemed to beckon them forward. Her team gathered around, their breathless excitement apparent as they examined the figurehead, each detail telling a story of the ship's journey. Tomas pulled out his camera, capturing the moment with fervor. "This could be a significant discovery," he exclaimed, eyes wide, as he envisioned the implications for their research. Claire began documenting their observations, feeling the thrill of uncovering history wash over her. "Let's take our time with this. Every detail matters," she instructed, keen on emphasizing the importance of thoroughness. As they worked together, Claire felt her leadership grow stronger, knowing that their united effort would bring the past to life for the community they aimed to inspire. As the team meticulously documented the figurehead, Claire felt a surge of excitement mixed with responsibility. "We should highlight its cultural significance when we present this to the community," she suggested, recognizing the deeper implications behind their discovery. Tomas looked up from his notes, enthusiasm evident in his eyes. "This figurehead could tell a story about the people who crewed this ship. We need to capture that narrative." Claire nodded, encouraged by his perspective. "Absolutely. Every artifact connects to a larger story. That's what will resonate with the community." Allison chimed in, her voice brimming with ideas. "We could incorporate these findings into our educational workshops, showing younger generations the importance of their maritime history." Claire felt pride swell within her. Their shared vision was beginning to take shape, transforming into a united purpose driven to engage the very community they aimed to serve. Seeing the team rally around a common goal, she knew they were on the cusp of creating something truly meaningful together. With their collaborative spirit thriving, Claire felt an invigorating rush as they made their final preparations for the upcoming presentations. "Let's ensure everyone is clear on their parts," she said, looking around at her team, each member's enthusiasm pouring over the artifacts they had collected. Tomas was busy organizing their visual aids, ensuring they highlighted key discoveries that would engage the audience. "I'll set everything up so it flows logically during the presentation," he reassured, his confidence evident as he moved swiftly through the tasks. Allison affirmed, "And I'll handle the Q&A session afterward to address any community concerns about the artifacts and our processes." Claire felt a sense of pride swell within her, knowing that their roles were complementary and each person was stepping up to contribute. "Together, we're building something powerful," she encouraged, the atmosphere charged with excitement as they finalized details, ready to bring their vision to life. As they gathered their gear one last time, Claire recognized this moment as a culmination of their journey, and her anticipation grew for the impact they would make on their community. As Claire finished gathering her materials, she took a moment to step back and reflect on the journey that had brought them here. The path had been fraught with challenges, yet each difficulty had transformed into a lesson, weaving the fabric of their success together. "Does everyone feel ready for this?" she asked, looking each team member in the eye, seeking confirmation. Thomas smiled, filled with anticipation. I can't wait to share what we've uncovered, Allison added. This is going to be memorable. I believe we can really inspire others. That shared sense of excitement ignited something within Claire, reinforcing her belief in the importance of their work. Feeling a sense of gratitude for her team, she knew that their shared experiences would not only strengthen their bond, but also prepare them for whatever challenges would come next, ready to embrace the future together. Chapter 29, Facing the Aftermath. As the dust settled from their recent dive, Claire stood among her team, the atmosphere tinged with a mix of triumph and uncertainty. They had recovered significant artifacts, yet the reality of their earlier setbacks still loomed large in her mind. We need to assess the impact of our discoveries and how they affect our community, she said, her voice steady as she faced her team. Tomas nodded in agreement, his expression thoughtful. We can leverage these finds to foster stronger community ties, but we need to address any concerns first. Claire felt the gravity of his words as she recalled the discussions surrounding the potential loss they had faced. It's essential to show the community how we're preserving their heritage, not just for our benefit, but for theirs too, she emphasized, determined to navigate through the complexities ahead. In that moment, she recognized the resilience of her team, ready to rally together to face any challenges that may arise as they move forward with their mission. Claire gathered the team around a table filled with the artifacts they had collected, the atmosphere charged with the thrill of discovery, balanced against the undercurrents of concern. We need to clarify what our findings mean for the community, she stated, her gaze steady as she scanned the eager faces of her teammates, feeling the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Tomas gestured at the artifacts, his brow furrowed. If we present them without addressing the community's worries, we might face backlash instead of support. Claire nodded, recognizing the validity of his point. Let's prioritize transparency in our communication, ensuring we explain our intentions clearly. Allison chimed in. We should also prepare a public statement about our findings and what steps we're taking to safeguard the history we're uncovering. Feeling the collective determination solidify among them, Claire felt a renewed sense of focus. Great idea. Together we can turn this into an opportunity for collaboration rather than conflict. With their responsibilities clear, Claire sensed the momentum building, an unwavering commitment to forging a path forward that would strengthen their ties with the community. As they discussed their approach to communicating with the community, Claire began to feel a sense of clarity emerging amidst the chaos. Let's draft a comprehensive document outlining our findings and our commitment to preservation, she proposed, eager to ensure her team was aligned and prepared. Tomas furrowed his brow, contemplating the best way to present the material. We'll need visuals to accompany the data, something that shows the artifacts in context, he suggested, his mind already racing with ideas. Good thinking, Claire replied, appreciating his proactive attitude. We can incorporate images from our dives to illustrate the significance of each piece. Allison chimed in with enthusiasm. What if we create a timeline that connects our findings to local history? It could help the community understand the relevance of our work. Claire felt a swell of pride as the ideas flowed freely among her team, showcasing their ability to collaborate even under pressure. This is exactly the kind of dynamic we need, she said, heartened by their determination to turn challenges into opportunities for deeper community engagement. As Claire finalized the proposal, she felt a surge of determination, recognizing the importance of their message for the community. Let's make sure we emphasize our commitment to preserving these artifacts and engaging with the community, she stated, her focus unwavering. Tomas adjusted the display to showcase their findings, ensuring that the visuals highlighted their discoveries clearly. We need to capture the attention of those attending and show them the value of what we've learned. Claire nodded in agreement, appreciating how well they were working together as a team. We should include testimonials from our previous engagements to reinforce trust and transparency. Allison eagerly began compiling feedback from the community, excited to present real voices alongside their findings. This will show how our work resonates with them, she said, her energy infectious. Claire felt the sense of responsibility begin to solidify into a mission that was not just about artifacts, but a dialogue with the community, a chance to highlight the importance of history together. Confident in their collaborative spirit, she smiled as they worked, knowing they were preparing to make a meaningful impact on both their mission and their community. As the final preparations unfolded, Claire felt a renewed sense of purpose resonating within her. The team gathered for a last-minute check before presenting their work to the community. Each member's enthusiasm radiated, mixing with an undercurrent of anxious anticipation. "Let's ensure the presentation flows smoothly. I want to capture their interest from the start," Claire instructed. Her voice filled with conviction as she reminded everyone to stick to the outlined plan. Tomas adjusted the projector one last time, ensuring that the visuals were clear and engaging, as he felt the pressure mounting on them to impress the audience. Allison double-checked the handouts, her fingers flying over the papers as she organized them. "These look great. I think they'll love what we've put together," she said, her excitement infectious. Claire smiled, heartened by the energy and camaraderie, feeling confident that their hard work and strategic planning would leave a lasting impression on the community. As the community members began to fill the room, Claire felt her heart race with anticipation, her excitement mingling with nerves. She moved to the front of the venue, taking a deep breath to steady herself as she greeted the first arrivals with a warm smile. "Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you're here." Tomas positioned himself by the projector, ready to showcase their findings, while Allison circulated among the guests, making sure they felt welcomed and engaged. The atmosphere buzzed with curiosity and interest, a change Claire hoped would foster a deeper connection between the community and their mission. "Today, we're excited to share the stories behind the artifacts we've uncovered," Claire began, her voice strong as she captured the audience's attention. As she spoke, Claire sensed the shifting dynamic. The community was beginning to embrace their work, eager to learn about the rich history now resurfaced, and Claire couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment envelop her. Chapter 30, A Journey of Discovery. After the successful community event, Claire took a moment to reflect on everything they had accomplished as she stood at the edge of the dock. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a golden hue over the calm waters, and she felt a profound sense of clarity wash over her. With her heart full, she thought about the many discussions held and the connections made, her mind replaying the conversations that sparked interest and enthusiasm among the attendees. "I never imagined we could have such an impact," she whispered, gratitude swelling within her at their collective efforts. A voice broke through her thoughts. "It was incredible to see everyone so engaged," Tomas said, joining her at the dock, his expression radiating sincerity. "I think we've really built something meaningful here," she replied, knowing that their journey together had provided them with more than just discoveries. It had fostered growth, understanding, and a stronger sense of community. As Claire stood at the dock, she felt the weight of her experiences pressing against her. "I think we need to keep pushing forward," she stated, her eyes locked on the horizon, where the waves shimmered with potential. Tomas, leaning against the rail, glanced over with renewed interest. "What do you mean?" "I want to take our work beyond this community event. We have a chance to expand our findings and share them with a wider audience." His eyes lit up with excitement. "You mean, like presenting at conferences or collaborating with universities?" "Exactly. We could showcase our research and engage with broader discussions about maritime history," Claire replied, her vision growing clearer with each word. As Tomas considered her words, Claire felt the thrill of possibility surge within her, aware that their journey had just begun and that new ventures awaited them on the horizon. As Claire shared her vision for the future, a sense of excitement spread through her, rippling out to Tomas and the rest of the team. "If we take our findings further, we can inspire not just our community but people beyond it," she urged, her passion evident as she outlined her thoughts clearly. Tomas leaned forward, fully engaged. "We could create a website or a blog where we document our work, gather stories, and engage with others interested in maritime history," he suggested, excitement shining in his eyes. Claire nodded enthusiastically. the idea resonating deeply. Yes, by creating an online platform, we can facilitate discussions and spark a broader conversation about our work. I could help with the technical side of things, Allison added, her eagerness bubbling over as she envisioned the potential impact of their ideas. Claire felt a surge of optimism, recognizing the strength of collaboration and how each person's contributions shaped their collective journey, ready to embrace the future with renewed hope and ambition. Claire's enthusiasm ignited a conversation among the team, each member eager to share their ideas for the next steps. By creating that online platform, we can encourage community engagement beyond just our local area, Claire emphasized, showcasing the potential impact of their work. Thomas added, we should reach out to other local historians or museums to build connections, creating a network that enhances our credibility. Allison nodded vigorously, jotting down notes, and we can host virtual seminars to educate a broader audience, making history accessible to everyone. The group buzzed with excitement, the camaraderie fostering a creative atmosphere where everyone felt empowered to contribute. Claire reveled in their energy, recognizing how their collective passion transformed the initiative into something larger than herself. As they continued brainstorming, she felt a burgeoning sense of purpose, excited to wield their findings into an inspiring narrative that would resonate with many. With a clear vision now laid out before them, Claire leaned back, surveying the enthusiasm in the room. This is about building a legacy, not just for us, but for the whole community, she reiterated, wanting to instill a sense of shared responsibility among the team. Tomas grinned, his earlier doubts completely forgotten. If we can engage students and families with the artifacts, we'll create a lasting connection. Allison nodded, her excitement palpable. And we can encourage them to share their own connections to maritime history, enriching the narrative further. Seeing the spark of creativity ignite in her teammates' eyes reassured Claire that they were on the right path. Let's commit to these ideas and begin drafting a timeline for our outreach efforts. We'll need clear goals to keep us focused. As they organized their thoughts and plans, Claire felt empowered, knowing that they were not only creating new pathways for discovery, but also setting the stage for future adventures together. As they finalized the details of their plans, Claire felt a deep sense of clarity about their mission and the path ahead. Let's set a timeline for implementation, she suggested, wanting to give their efforts a structured direction. Tomas nodded, taking notes. If we can roll out our presentations at the start of the school year, we'll catch the students' attention right when they're eager to learn. Allison added, and we can tailor our workshops to align with their curriculum, making it relevant and engaging. Claire beamed at their willingness to collaborate and innovate, fully appreciating how far they had come as a team. I'll draft an outline and send it for feedback before our next meeting, she promised, ensuring they were all aligned and ready to move forward. In that moment, Claire recognized that this initiative was not just about preserving artifacts, but building a cultural bridge that would connect generations to come. Chapter 31, A New Beginning. Returning to the familiar setting of the research facility, Claire felt the weight of her experiences mingling with a sense of belonging. The walls echoed with laughter and chatter as her team reunited, the air buzzing with energy after their recent successes. Walking through the room, Claire noticed the artifacts prominently displayed, a testament to all their hard work and dedication. Let's dive into our next steps, she announced, eager to keep the enthusiasm alive. Tomas grinned at her enthusiasm, ready to engage with the tasks ahead. I've got a new idea for documenting our progress. I can create a visual timeline of our findings. Claire's heart swelled with pride at the initiative her team was taking, recognizing how their growth and collaboration had transformed the dynamic of their group. Claire noticed the profound changes in the room as her team engaged with excitement, their conversations laced with innovative ideas. Let's discuss how we can reach out to the community now that we have some amazing findings, she suggested, wanting to tap into their energy. Tomas glanced around, eager to contribute. We should organize a follow-up event to showcase our discoveries and gather further feedback. Allison nodded, her eyes sparkling with possibility. and we could include some hands-on activities for the kids to get them involved. Claire felt a warmth spread within her, recognizing that their excitement was rooted in a shared vision of connecting with the community. "Great suggestions. Let's make those plans actionable," she encouraged, feeling the momentum build as they began to draft a proposal. This collective spirit reinforced Claire's belief in the power of collaboration, knowing they could create something truly impactful together. As their discussion continued, Claire felt the sense of camaraderie around her grow stronger. Tomas had compiled their ideas into a cohesive outline, showcasing their findings alongside community engagement strategies. "I think we should emphasize the importance of local involvement in preservation efforts," he proposed, his passion evident. Allison added, "We could create a series of interactive presentations that involve storytelling around each artifact." Claire nodded, her mind racing with excitement about the potential impact of their ideas. That would resonate well. People connect with stories. We should also invite community members to share their own maritime experiences. Seeing the energy flow among her team was invigorating. It reminded her that their journey was as much about personal growth as it was about the work itself. As they wrapped up their brainstorming session, Claire felt a sense of accomplishment, proud to witness how their collaboration was blossoming into something meaningful for both their team and the community. With their ideas solidified and plans taking shape, Claire felt a sense of hope energizing the team. "Let's allocate responsibilities and set deadlines for our community engagement activities," she suggested, eager to keep the momentum building. Tomas took the lead, outlining who would manage each aspect of the upcoming event. "I'll coordinate with the local schools to set up meetings and gather interest," he offered, his confidence shining through. Allison jumped in, "I'll work on the educational materials and presentation, ensuring that they're engaging and accessible." As they discussed their individual responsibilities, Claire saw how empowered each member felt, their identities as contributors fully shining through. "Together, we can ensure that everyone feels included in this, and that our initiative resonates with the whole community," she added, knowing that their collective efforts would truly lead to something impactful. With renewed determination, they finalized their action plan, Claire feeling more convinced than ever that they were ready to inspire change. As they wrapped up their planning session, Claire felt a wave of pride swell within her. The energy in the room was electric, each team member radiating enthusiasm and commitment as they finalized their roles. "Let's not forget the importance of our follow-up after the event," she reminded them. "We should encourage attendees to share their own stories and experiences, fostering a deeper connection." Tomas agreed, his interest visibly piqued. "We can set up an online platform for them to submit stories or perspectives related to maritime history." Allison jotted down notes, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "That would engage the community long after the event, helping us build ongoing relationships." Claire felt her heart brim with gratitude as she watched their collaborative spirit flourish. This was more than just an event. It was a new foundation for their mission, and together, they were ready to inspire the entire community. With final smiles and heartfelt affirmations, they stepped into the next phase of their adventure, united and eager to make a lasting impact. As the team prepared to leave the facility, Claire felt a renewed sense of purpose. She looked around at the artifacts they had displayed, now symbols of their hard work and commitment to the community. "Today was a major step forward, and I'm so proud of all of you," she said, her voice resonating with sincerity. Tomas smiled, gratitude evident in his eyes. "It's amazing to see how our efforts are resonating with people." Allison added, "And knowing we're building something meaningful together makes it even better." Determined to maintain their momentum, Claire replied, "Let's keep this spirit alive as we move forward. We're not just a team, we're a community." With that shared understanding, they stepped into the bright sunlight outside, feeling empowered by both their experiences and the journey that lay ahead. Chapter 32, Addressing the Past. Claire stood in front of the display of artifacts one last time, reflecting on their significance and the journey that had led to this moment. The community had embraced their findings, and now she felt the urge to take action to repair any remaining conflicts from the earlier challenges. She glanced at Thomas and Allison, who were discussing their next steps, eager to contribute to the ongoing narrative. "Hey, can we talk about how to better connect with the community moving forward?" Claire called out, determined to address any lingering uncertainties. Thomas looked thoughtful. "We could set up a series of follow-up meetings to gather feedback and address concerns more directly." Allison nodded enthusiastically. "And we could also involve local leaders in these discussions to build trust and transparency." Claire felt a swell of gratitude for their proactive attitudes, ready to address unresolved conflicts and fulfill their promises to the community they had committed to serve. Claire gathered her thoughts, preparing to address the team about their ongoing commitment to the community and the project. "Let's make sure we highlight our dedication to preserving history and involve the community in our next steps," she said, her voice firm with purpose. Thomas nodded in agreement, his enthusiasm building. "We can frame our discussions around their interests and concerns, making it clear that we value their input." Allison interjected, "It's important for us to demonstrate that we're not just taking from the community, but also giving back." Claire felt a sense of responsibility wash over her, recognizing the weight of their platform and the trust placed in them. "By involving them in the narrative, we can foster a stronger connection," she added, wanting to instill a sense of purpose among her team. Gathering momentum, Claire felt hopeful that their efforts could cultivate a thriving community spirit, reinforcing their mission and weaving a shared story of maritime heritage. As Claire continued to outline their course of action, a sense of clarity emerged among the team. "Let's set clear objectives for our follow-up meetings," she proposed. "We need to present not just what we've found, but how it impacts our community." Tomas quickly jotted down notes, eager to capture Claire's ideas. "We can invite community leaders to join the discussions, making sure they feel involved," he suggested, his enthusiasm reflecting a growing commitment to the project. Allison leaned in, considering the best ways to engage their audience. "And we should create an interactive element where people can share their own stories related to the artifacts," she added, her passion for storytelling evident. With each suggestion, Claire felt the bonds of their teamwork strengthen, recognizing how their shared commitment could reshape the neighborhood's connection to its maritime history. "We all have a stake in this," she affirmed, feeling a sense of unity build as they prepared to reach out to the community and engage them in meaningful conversations. Claire looked around at her team, the energy in the room bubbling with excitement and anticipation. "Let's also highlight our previous successes to establish credibility," she suggested, wanting to reinforce their mission's importance. Thomas nodded vigorously. "I can create a short presentation showcasing our findings and the impact they have had on local history." Allison chimed in, "And we should emphasize how our collaboration with the community can lead to greater preservation efforts moving forward." Claire smiled, grateful for their proactive attitudes. "Agreed. We need to convey that we're all in this together, that the history we're uncovering belongs to everyone." As they discussed the details, Claire sensed the strength of their collective vision beginning to solidify, transforming every idea and suggestion into a path toward deeper connections within the community. This unprecedented collaboration reminded Claire of the power within their shared commitment, setting the stage for a future where history and community intertwined seamlessly. As they continued to refine their plans, Claire felt a sense of urgency entwined with excitement. "Let's establish a timeline for our outreach efforts," she urged, needing to create a structured path that would guide their engagement with the community. Tomas quickly grabbed a piece of paper, eager to start mapping out their actions. "We can align our presentations with upcoming local events to maximize attendance," he suggested, his eyes bright with ideas. Allison firmly stood by her earlier points. "And we can use social media to reach out before the event, inviting community members to share what maritime history means to them." Claire watched as they exchanged ideas, each voice contributing to their collective goal. The room buzzed with creativity, transforming their aspirations into actionable strategies. Feeling the energy build, Claire realized how vital their teamwork had become. It wasn't just about the artifacts anymore. It was about weaving a narrative that would resonate deeply, inspiring the community to connect with their past. These adjustments would set a foundation for a new chapter in their journey, one that would redefine the very essence of their mission. As Claire reflected on the team's progress, she felt a deep sense of gratitude for each member's contributions. "Let's make sure everyone feels included in this process," she said, wanting to affirm their collective mission as they prepared for community engagement. Thomas glanced around, his earnestness evident. "I think it's important we gather feedback after our presentations to adjust based on community input." Allison nodded in agreement, eager to keep the momentum flowing. "We should create a platform where community members can communicate their thoughts and experiences." Claire appreciated their proactive suggestions, feeling the shared commitment to ensure their work had a lasting impact. "Absolutely. Our success hinges on their involvement," Claire affirmed, feeling each conversation solidify their purpose. In this moment, Claire recognized that through their collaboration and dedication, they were not just uncovering history, but building a bridge between their past and the future. Chapter 33, The Legacy of the Sea. With the community event behind them, Claire stood at the dock once more, her heart swelling with a mix of satisfaction and anticipation for what lay ahead. The warm sun bathed the space, a vivid reminder of the days spent exploring the ocean and uncovering history together. Reflecting on their journey, she recognized how much she had changed, not just as a leader, but also as a team member who valued collaboration and community. "Let's start thinking about our next steps," she suggested to Thomas and Allison, who joined her at the edge of the water, their faces reflecting excitement for future adventures. Tomas surveyed the horizon, a thoughtful expression on his face. "We could plan another dive to explore the artifacts we didn't get to during the last event," Allison added, "and we can incorporate what we learned from this last presentation to make it even more engaging for the community." Claire felt an exhilarating rush at their enthusiasm, knowing that their collective experience had laid the groundwork for future discoveries and connections. Claire could already picture the possibilities running through her mind, a vision of future community gatherings filled with excitement for history and exploration. "We should also think about collaborating with local artists to create exhibits that visually showcase our findings," she suggested, eager to enhance their efforts with creativity. Tomas nodded, his enthusiasm infectious. "Absolutely. Art can make history come alive. It would bring a whole new dimension to our presentations." Allison's eyes sparkled with ideas. "We could host workshops where community members create their own art inspired by local history. It'll deepen their connection to it." Claire felt the energy in the air shift as they excitedly bounced ideas off one another, each suggestion weaving a tapestry of potential that broadened their mission. "I love where this is heading," Claire said, grateful for the momentum they had built together. "Let's put together a plan to reach out, and we can start building those partnerships." As they brainstormed together, Claire felt invigorated, knowing that their collaborative spirit would pave the way for ongoing adventures and deeper connections with their community. As the team continued to flesh out their ideas, Claire felt a surge of excitement at the possibilities unfolding before them. "Let's prioritize the initiatives that can create the most impact in the community," she proposed, wanting to ensure their efforts truly resonated. Tomas, energized by Claire's leadership, suggested, "We could create a series of interactive community dives, allowing locals to experience exploration firsthand." Allison perked up. "And we can bring in community leaders during these dives to show them the value of maritime history, making it a collaborative learning experience." Claire nodded, feeling their shared vision solidifying into actionable steps that would deepen community ties. "This is about creating a legacy. We want to inspire future generations," she said, her passion igniting the room. The ideas flowed freely, each one building upon the last, and Claire felt a sense of unity grow among her team, bolstered by a commitment to their collective mission. In that moment, she saw their journey was no longer just about artifacts. It had evolved into a shared story that connected them all to something much larger than themselves. As the conversation flowed, Claire felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her, pride swelling as each team member contributed their thoughts and aspirations. "We need to share our vision openly with the community, make them feel part of this journey," she stated, her determination evident. Tomas agreed, his mind racing with creative ideas. A community kickoff event could help us introduce everyone to our mission and showcase what we've discovered. Allison chimed in, eager to build on the momentum. "And we could create an interactive display, inviting locals to add their stories and experiences related to maritime history." Claire smiled, recognizing how the team was not only embracing their goals, but also envisioning a broader impact that reached far beyond their initial mission. "This is our opportunity to weave their narratives into our work," she encouraged, seeing how their collaboration was deepening the connection to their community. In that moment, Claire understood that their journey had evolved, creating a platform for growth, learning, and inspiration for everyone involved. As they finalized their plans and ideas, Claire felt an overwhelming sense of hope for what lay ahead. "Let's ensure we don't lose sight of our mission while we're expanding our outreach," she reminded the team, wanting to keep their focus on the goals they had established. Tomas responded with conviction, "We'll integrate all our findings into the community initiatives. This way, everyone stays informed and connected." Allison suggested, "We should create a timeline on our website that tracks our progress and allows the community to follow along with our journey." Claire nodded, impressed by their ingenuity. "That's a fantastic idea. It'll keep everyone engaged and invested." Feeling a sense of unity among the team, Claire recognized that their shared commitment was not just about the discoveries they had made, but also about building a legacy that intertwined their futures with the community they served. With a renewed sense of purpose, they stood on the brink of an exciting chapter, ready to embrace the challenges and rewards that awaited them. With their plans set, Claire felt a profound sense of clarity about the next steps they would take. The community had embraced their work, and now it was time to build on that support. "I think we should celebrate this journey with a community event, something to highlight the collaboration between us and the locals," she proposed, sensing excitement ripple through her team. Tomas's eyes lit up. "That could be an opportunity for everyone to share their maritime stories. We can set up booths and interactive displays for them to participate in." Allison responded, enthusiastic about the potential impact. "We could also plan a panel discussion, inviting local historians to join us. That would deepen their connection to the project." Claire felt a surge of empowerment as they brainstormed, the weight of her leadership transforming into a thrill of potential. Together, they were crafting a narrative that would resonate, weaving their discoveries into the fabric of community togetherness, ready to embark on their next adventure.